What do you get when you mix a megalomaniacal record producer, a blonde bombshell, and a smoking gun? This week's episode of Death and Entertainment.
Hello, this is Phil Spector. May we wish you the very merriest of Christmases and the happiest of New Years. And thank you so very much for letting us spend this Christmas with you.
Live from Los Angeles.
911, what is your emergency?
Here in Hollywood now.
2 counts of murder,
Injury and death.
Shocking new details.
That has stunned the entertainment world.
This makes me a little nervous.
The hair stood up on my arms.
Just like in the movies.
What do you call this thing anyway?
Death.
In entertainment.
Hello, everybody.
Ho, ho, ho.
Merry Christmas, Deados.
Merry Deathmas, I say.
Again, yeah.
Yeah.
The whole month of Deathmas.
The whole month of Deathmas.
25 days of Deathmas.
You lucky bastards, you get 25 days of this.
You lucky so-and-sos.
You sons of bitches.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Kyle Plouffe.
My name is Mark Mulcairn.
And I'm Alejandro Dowling.
And we are going straight into episode 61.
Oh, my God.
Discussing a very controversial figure in the Los Angeles scene at large, I would say.
Yeah. Chelsea Handler.
Yeah. You got to be kidding me. Come on.
Yay.
Nay.
Oh.
Hey.
You guys got a good repertoire here.
Where's Kanye?
Yes.
Talking about Nazis.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Pretty true, actually. It's factually correct.
It is factually correct.
Scumbag.
And you know what else is factually correct?
What's that, Kyle?
That we are doing an episode that's taking us all the way to
February 3rd, 2003.
Ooh, what a time.
$2303. We got in the box office at this time, going crazy. Number 3, Biker Boys.
Yes.
Boys with a Z, so you know it's real good.
Of course it is with a Z.
Yeah.
How could you not have it with a Z?
Biker Boys.
Yeah, the 90s were carrying over a few years.
Yeah. This is a movie that was all produced in the 90s, but for some reason it came out
And it has nothing to do with Dogtown and Z-Boys.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
Do
a
you know?
lot of Z. No, I don't think it has nothing to do. This is just a it's just like a narrative about dudes that ride bikes and they like kill each other like gangs.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember what's the guy's name? He was always in Jon Favreau movies. Big dude.
We got Lawrence Fishburne.
He was in Maid.
Here. Derek Luke, Megan Good, Sally Richardson, Orlando Jones, who was the original 7-Up guy before Godfrey took over.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wonder what the behind the scenes of that struggle. I want to see that movie rather than Biker Boys.
Yeah, it's like the Letterman and Leno made for TV movie.
Yeah. The night shift.
The late shift.
The late shift. Yeah.
Make 7-Up yours.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the big joke.
Yeah.
And it was funny one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 15th time,
Yeah, not so much.
Number 2 is a sequel, a big sequel, and I think it might be the first movie that we've talked about with one of our favorite actors. Final Destination 2 with Mr. Devon Sawa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the sour heads out there.
I'm a sour head. Sour
Are you?
D's. Let's go. Yeah. He's played 3 characters in the new Chucky TV show on USA and Sci-Fi.
Really?
3? He's played 3. He played a set of twins in the first season. Then the second season he plays a priest.
Wait, he plays a whole different character?
Yeah, he plays. It's like
Wait, is it a running narrative? That's
no,
what
it's like an inside like wink.
Yeah, that's what they do on Law and Order. They're like some of the people are so good. Like there's some woman was playing like a crazy crackhead in court, and then 2 seasons later she's playing the chief of police, and like no one even notices. It's hilarious. Yeah.
Final Destination 2 is responsible for everybody's traumatic memory of the logs coming off the truck and going through people's windshields.
Oh yeah.
So,
Very
if you
scary.
ever drive behind them, you immediately think of that movie.
And if you didn't know that, now you do.
Now you do. There you go.
I do think of that every time I'm driving on the highway and I'm behind some kind of trailer or huge truck like that.
I had that happen on the 101. Some rocks, they must have fallen off a car, but they broke my windshield when I was on the 101 going like 80 miles per hour. And it's like I had to pull over, and I was all the way up in like San Luis Obispo, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And I was
San
like,
Luis.
I had to call someone, like a glass person, and be like, how do I get home?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it was fucking rough.
You're lucky to be alive.
I am. Yeah, it was kind of scary.
Yeah, it is. On the 101, when I first got my motorcycle, I'm flying down the highway and there's a truck in front of me and glass tiles for like someone's bathroom fell off and they're just exploding. And I'm like, this isn't going to hurt that bad. And they're just like shards just stabbing me as I'm going through the
What?
tiles that are going. Yeah, they actually
You could be
cut
in
my
Biker
jeans
Boys.
open.
You could stunt man in Biker Boys.
That's what it was about. One podcaster's wild ride into Hollywood.
Yeah. I don't think it would be number 3 though.
It wouldn't even be number 20.
Yeah.
And number 1 at the time is The Recruit, which I don't remember.
That's with Colin Farrell. Remember
Yeah.
that? And Al Pacino. Oh, you're the recruit.
Oh, that's right.
Remember that? He was it's like a CIA training movie.
And it was one of Colin Farrell's first starring roles.
Yeah, I think he was starting to get like the bigger roles and shit.
Because he had done Minority Report
Yes.
and made a splash, and then
He
now
did,
this
yeah.
one.
I just saw him in the Shirin or the Banshees of Inisherin, which is really good. I
getting
think.
some Oscar buzz.
A lot of
Yeah.
Oscar buzz.
And he did The Penguin earlier this
Yeah.
year.
He was great.
And, little known fact, he played Brendan Fraser in The Whale as well.
Wow, he's got range, this
Yeah.
guy.
Yes,
He's really good. I think it's his year for the Oscar.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the top 3.
Well, let's hear about the music going on right now, February 3rd, 2003. Top 3 songs right now. Number 3, Beautiful by Christina Aguilera. You are beautiful. I thought this is when she was dirty. She was dirty, then she's beautiful. Which one
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah, both.
Yeah. In Kyle's world, they're both the same
Yeah.
thing.
Listen, women can be whatever they want.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So I'm the one.
Yeah,
that's
you're the
dickhead.
oppressor.
I'm
Yeah.
the oppressor now.
Colonizer.
The song is beautiful, though.
Is it?
I'm just naming the song.
No matter what
okay,
they say.
Okay. You're not critiquing
No,
what you thought of it. yeah.
literally just saying the title of the song.
Okay, well,
Words
thank you
can't
for
bring
that.
me down.
To reiterate that. Number 2, B2K, Bump, Bump, Bump. That's
Yeah.
3 bumps right
It's a
there.
song about cocaine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In the bathroom?
Yeah. I was in the bathroom doing
Yeah.
bump, bump, bumps.
On my key. Number 1, All I Have by Jennifer Lopez, which
Your favorite.
I didn't say favorite, but I like her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's all right.
She's aight. Yeah, she's Jenny from the block.
She
Can't
is.
think of what I would like her that much from.
The Cell.
Really?
The movie The Cell.
Anaconda.
Anaconda
Yeah.
too, yeah.
They got snakes out here this big? I just remember that line from Anaconda for some reason. Ice Cube saying that.
Yep.
But that's the music, and we got the movies, and that's it.
The world is set. The stage is set.
Oh, you got it, buddy.
Oh yeah.
And the snow is snowing.
Yeah.
The wind is blowing. And we about to go into the story of Phil Spector.
Let's get in there. Ho, ho, ho.
Harvey Philip Spector was born December 26th,
What?
1939.
Ooh.
Just after Christmas. How about that?
That's
Wow.
crazy. Yeah.
I don't know how I would feel about having a birthday the day after Christmas.
Yeah, he was Jewish though, so he didn't really celebrate. So I don't think that big of a problem. But
You're right. I'm talking about me.
oh, okay.
Yeah, speaking of, his family were Russian Jewish immigrants
Yeah.
living in the Bronx.
Wow.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah.
he was from the Bronx.
He had one older sister, Shirley, and his mom, Bertha, and dad.
Big Bertha.
Yeah, Bertha. You don't hear any more Berthas today.
No.
That's a very old-timey name.
Yeah, how do you look at a baby and just say Bertha?
Or look at a baby and say Beatrice.
Yeah, but Beatrice is kind of a nicer name though.
Or even a sexual partner and being like, oh yeah, Bertha.
Yeah, I want to.
Bertha, we're gonna birth you.
Yeah, want to birth you a baby.
Is there a hot Bertha out there?
There has to be.
Okay.
That's the new reality show. You know, America's Hottest Bertha.
It's like the
America's
holy.
Next Top Bertha.
It's the Holy Grail.
Yes, I can see it now.
Dad Ben was an iron worker, but he wasn't so happy. He killed himself in 1949.
Oh my God.
Self asphyxiation.
From Bertha?
No.
She climbed on top of him.
Whoa.
Oof.
No.
Okay.
He parked his car and, took the pipe,
Oh,
put the handkerchief in the exhaust.
the opening scene of The Client.
Yeah, it's like the client.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
So
judge,
good.
whatever his name is.
Yeah.
So Brad Renfro could have witnessed Big Ben killing himself
Wow.
in 1949 if it were
In 1949.
if it were a movie.
Yeah.
The
A
movie
lot
version.
of things have to be changed around for you to buy on to that. What Alejandro's saying right now.
Perhaps it was money troubles. People don't really know.
Really?
Mm.
Yeah, and
Maybe it's his 9-year-old asshole son.
Yeah.
yeah, he's like, I sense you're going to be a real problem.
Yeah.
But talented.
Yeah. On his gravestone, it was written, "To know him was to love him." And keep that phrase in the back of your mind, okay?
Uh-oh.
He wasn't like one of those people at the funeral. Everyone's like, yeah, he kind of sucked.
No. The family moved to LA after that in 1953. And
Nice change of scenery.
Yeah.
Phil Spector spent time in his room, became obsessed with music,
Yeah.
would listen to it. He learned how to play guitar. He was very talented.
Mm.
And, this is the story of a lot of these producers, musicians,
Like Brian Wilson just hanging out in his bedroom.
Yeah.
Doing stuff.
not really relating to a lot of people his own age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, he had a diminutive. How do you say this, Mark?
Diminutive.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't say it.
Diminutive.
Yeah.
I was going to say small. Then I was like, go for it.
Yeah.
You only live once. Okay. He had
You pronounce it 10 times, but you only live once.
And it went amazingly.
He had a small figure. He's a tiny
He's
guy.
a tiny dude. Yeah.
And I think he was bald already then.
Really?
No, he wasn't. Spoiler alert.
You never know.
Yeah.
Okay. He was fighting a lot with his family. Well, his remaining family.
Was it just his mom? Did he have a
Obviously
sister
not
or something?
his dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sister Shirley.
Oh yeah.
And then Mom Bertha.
Yeah. That must have been a rough household there.
Yeah, they were.
Shirley, Bertha, and Harvey
Yeah, and
all under the same
he's
roof.
outnumbered there big time.
Yeah.
Bertha, who did not have a diminutive.
Oh man, he dove right back into it.
Say it again.
Diminutive.
Diminutive. Okay, Bertha, who did not have a diminutive
That's
figure.
like pulling out of the car crash, going right back into it.
I'm smart.
It is one of those tough ones, though.
Yeah.
I have words. I'm like, I don't even know. I'm never going to say it because it's just
It's
too
like
tough.
I'm Tanya Harding. I'm going for the triple axel,
Yeah.
and then I flop.
You do it one more time.
Yeah. All right. In school, there was a girl named Annette Kleinbard. He says to her, "I like the way you sing. Let's form a group."
Mm.
So they formed the Teddy Bears.
Oh, that sounds cute. Like cute little pop band.
They have kind of a slow start, but then he writes a song called "To Know Him Is to Love Him."
Ooh, it's coming right back, huh? Ooh, like saying diminutive the second time.
So where did we hear this before?
Woo. At the funeral of the father.
On his gravestone.
On the gravestone, yeah.
Yeah.
Phil Spector wrote the song. He was a member of the Teddy Bears too.
Okay,
And I have a clip.
let's hear it.
In this clip, you'll see that early on, he was already
Kind of
Phil
kind of
Spector.
kooky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're creepy and they're spooky.
The Spector family.
So this is Annette talking.
So we're at rehearsal at the Perry Como show. And when I went to go for the high note, because it's at the top of my range, my voice cracked. And I was mortified, just absolutely mortified. Phil put me up against the wall and he said, "If you fuck up my song, I'm gonna kill you."
Whoa.
And then when we went to sing the song, if you look at the show, there is a moment before I go for the high note that I think a look of, "Please, God, please let me hit this note."
Look at him.
Let's see if she hits it. Then he smacks her. Yeah, there he is on the right there. Phil Spector.
Wow.
It was a very high note, but I hit it.
Yeah.
To Know Him Is to Love Him reached #1 on the charts and stayed there for weeks. It was actually the biggest selling single in 1958.
It's a good song. It's catchy.
Yeah.
He has very good catchy songs.
So that's pretty fast success.
Yeah.
Very young.
Out the gate.
Yeah, it sold 1 million copies.
How old are they there? They're like 18 there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The group split the following year. So the Teddy Bears went bye-bye
Yeah.
in Left Eye's bathtub.
Nice.
Call back to another episode.
Yeah. In the universe.
Annette saw one of his other projects afterwards. You know, the woman from the Teddy Bears.
Yeah.
And she noticed a girl that sounded like her
Yeah.
and realized, oh, he doesn't need me anymore.
He just uses people.
It's just a formula.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that was it for her.
Wow.
Like she had, she went on to do things, but she wasn't invited to Phil Spector's party.
I wonder if it was like the voice cracking that one time. what did it for her?
Maybe for someone like Phil Spector, that's probably how he operated.
Needs perfection.
One crack, like, all right, get out of here. Let's try someone new.
Yeah, probably.
That brings us to Phillies Records, 1961. He forms this company with partner Lester Sill.
Ooh, Chester.
The molester.
Chester the Mo is his nickname.
Yeah.
Wasn't very catchy.
And that's where they got the name, if you didn't notice. It's Philles with Lester and Phil.
Oh, because there's two Phils.
Hey, the Philharmonic over here.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Philly cheesesteak.
Philly cheese dick.
Whoa.
Okay. No Harvey Keitel here yet, but he is coming up.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
What?
Nice.
In a convoluted way, but I'll make it happen.
Okay. We'll jam him in here somehow.
Just like diminishing or whatever you say.
Diminutive.
Diminutive.
Diminutive. Oh, it's so easy to say
I know
now.
when he's not thinking about
Yeah,
it.
diminutive.
You're like, what's her name, trying to hit that high note. That's your high note, diminutive.
I cracked under pressure.
Yeah.
That was like when I said vociferous.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love
Episode
that.
1.
Episode 1. Way callback.
Yeah.
Phillies signed a group called the Crystals. They had a couple of hits.
Ooh.
An early single by the Crystals was named He Hit Me and It Felt Like a Kiss,
Oh, my God.
written
Wow.
by Carole King. It received some
woman beating?
Yeah, it received some radio play, but also controversy.
It was big amongst like working class drunks.
Yeah.
Hey, you hear that new song? I love it.
So that's an early Phillies hit.
Yeah.
A do-diddy. And you know how Phil would work? Like he would bench some people, bring some other people in clearly, like the Teddy Bears. He discards them. Well, the manager of the Crystals was getting kind of annoyed. He's like, you need to release a song by the Crystals soon.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And this guy's name is Joe Scandori.
I've heard of Joe Scandori.
And he had mafia ties.
Yeah, he was also Don Rickles' manager.
Mm.
You don't cross
Hey,
Scandori.
He talks like this. It's Joe Scandori. you never heard Rickles do his manager impression?
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'd have to revisit it.
Yeah.
And he sent a thug to threaten Spector, saying, yeah, you need to release another Crystal single.
Is it like your brains or your signature is going to be on this?
Oh, yeah. And then he tells Spector, otherwise I'm going to kill your family. I'm going to kill your friends. I'm going to break your arms.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, he like
Give
threatened,
us a new song.
Mhm.
he threatened to kill people's dogs and shit.
Wow.
He was like a dog assassin.
Well, the mafia was all over the place back then. They
Yeah.
were running the comedy
This-
clubs and
Yeah.
But they're out in L.A. too now. At this
Yeah,
point,
they're-
yeah.
yep.
I think that this was one of Sinatra's managers too. I think
Maybe.
Scandori, yeah.
I just love all these families that have like a horrific beginning where someone gets killed or something horrible happens and they just go, let's go to LA where it's safe.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
even worse things happen to them.
right.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The Crystals though did start out in New York City, I should add.
Okay.
And
so
that
that's
actually
where Scandori came from
Yeah.
initially. Yeah.
and that actually is a good segue to this next thing. Because Phil Spector heard a song he liked written by Gene Pitney called He's a Rebel.
Okay.
They were about to release a version of that song with somebody else singing. And so then Spector went and recorded his own version with Darlene Love.
Yeah, I like. There was a lot more of that going on. Like
Mhm.
there would be like 8 renditions of songs. and
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because they're all just recording it and trying to get the biggest hit out of it. And once in a while, one of them would be like the standard.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix all along the Watchtower too. There was a Bob Dylan song.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
There's hundreds, and of
Yeah.
course I can't even think of one.
They
right
don't
now.
do that much anymore. Maybe because there's no more good songs coming out. That there's nothing to cover.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's gonna do the second version of Bump Bump Bump?
Yeah, yeah. No, you don't hear someone doing another WAP.
The Die
Yeah,
Guys.
yeah. We should record a WAP.
Yeah. It's a wet ass podcast.
Yo, okay.
Hey.
So Spector records He's a Rebel with Darlene Love on vocals, backed by this other girl group called the Blossoms. But what does he do? When he releases it, he attributes the song to the Crystals.
Ooh.
So he gave the Crystals another hit. It's just none of the actual Crystals were on it.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah.
So did they get paid for it?
Well, they got credit for it.
Oh.
I don't know exactly their financial agreement with
So Scandori
Phillies.
really shook the life out of this guy.
Yeah.
Spector was pretty scared.
Yeah.
And Lala Brooks from the Crystals
Yeah.
says that since that happened with Joe Scandori, he had bodyguards by his side all the time.
After that.
Yeah, after that incident.
Yeah, he was a very weirdly paranoid guy, but I guess he had a legitimate reason.
Yeah.
If you got Joe Scandori's like, I'm gonna kill your dog and your grandmother. Maybe I'd get bodyguards too. I'm gonna break your knuckles.
He was terrified after that.
I'm gonna cut your toes off. I'm gonna rub your belly button. Yeah.
He's like, now it's just getting weird.
It's, weird. It's not even violence anymore. It's kind of sexual.
All right, I'll make another song, okay?
Yeah, just get out of here, Scandori.
He's a Rebel becomes a huge hit, and the Crystals have to learn how to perform it live because they had nothing to do with it.
That's great.
And
At this time, Phil Spector develops what is known as the Wall of Sound.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of this.
And it's a technique he developed at Gold Star Studios in LA. He used session musicians, the best in the business, and they were known as the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
And basically what the Wall of Sound is, it's pop songs with an orchestral aesthetic.
Okay.
And it included instruments that aren't usually associated with rock music,
I think that's kind of cheating though.
like violins.
You can't get you're not getting all that in the live rendition of these songs.
Is it cheating? Does it matter though?
I don't know. That's the age-old question.
It is the age-old question. Then he would use more common rock instruments in an ensemble way.
Yeah.
For instance, 5 guitars playing at the exact same time.
That sounds so expensive.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. But it's a fuller sound.
Yeah.
It's like, pow,
It's
it
like
just hits
that
you.
much coming at you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's powerful.
Yeah.
The Ronettes auditioned for him, and they sang Why Do Fools Fall in Love? Originally a hit by Frankie Lyman.
Okay.
Phil Spector stood up and exclaimed, "That's it! That's the sound I've been looking for."
So he's literally saying like Back to the Future. You know that sound you were talking about?
Mhm.
Listen to this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's exactly that moment in the biopic.
Oh, really?
Well, in the theoretical biopic.
Yeah.
We all know the Ronettes' signature song,
Be My Baby.
Be My Baby. It was
Yeah.
released as a single in August 1963, recorded with a full orchestra. The band rehearsed for 4 hours.
Well, I bet they rehearse their ass off because they got like this maniac Spectre with these bodyguards now. Like, you fuck up one thing in this song, and you're dead.
You're dead.
Yeah, it's like Stanley Kubrick. Like, let's recite the line 100 times.
Yeah.
You know, just because.
Well, and then he did that over and over to Harvey Keitel, and Harvey Keitel says, "I'm fucking out of here."
That's right, on Eyes Wide Shut.
Eyes Wide Shut, yeah.
All right, well, there's our first Harvey Keitel.
There's the shoehorn.
First Keitel of the podcast.
And Be My Baby, this really showcases the power of the wall of sound technique. It has that iconic drum intro.
It was iconic in Goodfellas. That one shot when they go to the Copacabana basement in order to go in there.
You're actually thinking of a different wall of sound song.
What am I thinking of?
Then He Kissed Me by the Crystals.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Why did I think?
And he kissed me.
I literally thought those were the two same songs.
But I can shoehorn in another Harvey Keitel
Let's
reference.
hear it.
It was the opening credits of Mean Streets
Ah, that's why. Maybe I was confused. Yeah,
with our boy Harvey Keitel.
and De Niro. He's like, I'll show you a mean street.
I really like this wall of sound. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Phil, it's a good well sound. You know, how many musicians do this?
Pretty good.
Can you
Pretty
milk?
good.
Can you milk me?
Pretty good sound. And
Good.
Scorsese used it without any permission. He just
Really?
put it in the movie.
That's how people used to do it. They used to just run with it and just see who sues you.
It's
And
my song now.
Phil Spector was hanging out with John Lennon, and John Lennon said, "Oh, did you see that new movie? They're using your song."
Oh, really?
He like riles him up.
He ratted on him.
Yeah.
What a rat.
And then Phil Spector was saying, "Okay, you got to pay me royalties." He was going to take him to court. And then Scorsese's like, it's all right. Let's work something out. I'll pay you back later. Like, we'll get something going. Like, please, just the movie's already in some film festivals. Like, blah, 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 blah.
So he wanted to like stop all airing or like viewings of the movie.
because it
and
was
stuff.
used illegally.
He had like a cease and desist or something
Yeah.
on him. Yeah, what a fucking
And then
asshole.
Lennon said, "Oh, let it go, Philly."
Yeah.
He riled him up and then talked him down.
And so then when
Imagine the hangout between these two. What
Yeah.
a fucking weird duo.
and Phil Spector was like, "So I dropped it, and I was basically in control of Scorsese's entire career.
Oh my
Because if
God.
I had taken the song out, there would be no Mean Streets."
This Phil Spector, I don't know if it's accurate or not. The impression that
I like
is.
it.
It is.
I believe it.
I like
you'll
it.
hear his voice later.
I've never heard his voice.
He's like constantly out of breath. I don't know. I love the impression.
Okay, so back to Be My Baby, the song.
Yeah.
Ronnie Spector, formerly Veronica Bennett, by the way.
Oh,
She was not Ronnie Spector yet.
I didn't know that. It's like similar to the Ramones, also, who'll probably come up later. Yeah, it's none of them were Ramone.
Well, did you think they coincidentally had the same last name?
I didn't know. As a kid, I'm like, yeah, sure, they're all brothers.
She laid down the vocal track with her signature vibrato. Did I get that word right?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't even know that word.
And Brian Wilson was obsessed with the track and made Don't Worry Baby in response. And I believe he's still obsessed with it to this day.
He was a very vociferous fan of a lot of other bands. Like he loved the Beatles and stuff. And,
Yeah.
yeah. And he would just, I think he probably put together his orchestra to like mimic the Wall of Sound a little bit because they would use like, you know, especially on Pet Sounds, they used like a huge fucking, set of musicians for that.
Yeah, he chased it for years, the sound.
And he thought like, well, Brian Wilson, that's a whole other story, but he thought Phil Spector was like bugging his house, and he thought Phil Spector was like following him and stuff. And like, I think these are two like crazy dudes.
Oh, yeah.
like who were both very paranoid that people were stealing their ideas and stuff. No, he thought Phil Spector was like linking into his brainwaves.
Oh God!
I swear to God
I like how two nutcases can make each other nuts.
Yeah, and Brian Wilson's like on coke and like an acid and stuff, so that's not really helping someone who's already got mental problems.
Phil Spector's big thing was drinking.
Was he a big drunk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a small drunk.
Yeah, he's a little. Yeah,
He was
He's
a
a little
diminutive drunk.
diminutive drunk. Yeah, like, see, he says it like fucking, like he's breathing air over here.
Songs written by Phil Spector, Spanish Harlem, made famous by Ben E. King.
Good song.
Chapel of Love, made famous by the Dixie Cups.
Ooh.
Oh.
Do Ron Ron, and Then He Kissed Me by the Crystals. Baby I Love You, Ronettes.
He's on a tear here.
Christmas Baby Please Come Home by Darlene Love, and covered by a million artists.
Also in Goodfellas.
Is it?
Yeah.
The Copacabana sequence.
Yeah. Well, I'm 0 for 1 here. Or 1 for 2, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think when they do the Lufthansa heist and it's around Christmas time. Yeah.
Yes. River Deep Mountain High, Ike and Tina Turner.
Okay.
And incidentally, he was producing the album with Ike and Tina, taking her to the next level.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Ike was like an asshole.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, they didn't get along,
Yeah.
of course.
He said his punches felt like kisses too.
Oh, boy. It's like that one
Whoa.
song you produced. I really like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that was directed right at me.
I live by it.
Yeah.
And the last hit I'll mention is You've Lost That Loving Feeling.
Oh, God. Made famous by Top Gun.
Yep.
Yeah.
By the Righteous Brothers.
Which is an absurd scene where he just starts singing with a microphone in the middle of this bar and everyone's like on board with it.
Yeah.
It's a good song.
Good song.
So Phil is very diversified with his music portfolio.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying.
Albums he produced after his whole Wall of Sound era
He's
in the
moved on.
1960s.
Yeah.
Let It Be by the Beatles.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
He did that?
You didn't know this?
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah, famously. What happened is the Beatles break up.
Mm-hmm.
They have a bunch of songs left
Yeah.
that they recorded, but it's a big mess. None of them are interested in going through them all.
It's like a big like project or movie or something. Someone was writing and just abandoned.
Yeah, like, okay, let's start with track 1. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
And so he
So
got
he
it
rolls
done.
up his sleeves and he gets a good record out of it.
Yeah, because they wanted it to have a live sound because there were a couple performances like Get Back on the Rooftop.
Yeah.
And he pretty much kept it to that. He did add some stuff that Paul McCartney hated. Like all the interludes on it
Yeah.
and voices, that was all Phil Spector. Like, I dig a pygmy.
Yeah, oh, really?
Yeah, and like the long and winding road, he added his typical orchestral sound
Yeah.
with a full orchestra. And
It
that
sounds great.
McCartney hates it to this day.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Because it takes away from his voice or what? Why?
He just didn't like the mix. He thought it was too much. Some
well,
people
especially after doing, the one before that with Strawberry Fields and stuff.
Mhm.
That's pretty much what they were doing there.
Maybe it's ego.
Yeah, it could have been.
How can we really measure what's right or wrong in this scenario? Because the Phil Spector version is the
Yeah.
one we all grew up with.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say you don't like it. After Let It Be, which we all know was a huge smash, it's the last Beatles record.
Yeah.
That's
They performed on the roof after that, and then that was it.
classic.
They were all done. We're all done, mate.
He did All Things Must Pass, George Harrison. One of my personal favorite albums ever.
I don't even know that song. I'm sure
No,
I've
it's
heard
an
it.
album,
Oh, okay.
but it's also a song on the album. It's the one with My Sweet Lord
okay.
and What Is Life.
Yeah. What is Life? Also from Goodfellas. I'm just going to list off the Goodfellas soundtrack. Yeah.
And then he did Imagine the album with the song Imagine by
yeah.
John Lennon. And he did a bunch of John Lennon and George Harrison stuff in the 70s. Paul McCartney wanted nothing to do with him, but they liked
I wonder
the guy.
why that is. Like you said, ego thing, and they just, they kind of butted heads, and they both maybe played similar roles to the entire band.
That makes sense to what you were saying, that Paul McCartney was the workaholic.
Yeah.
If John Lennon was a little more laissez-faire about things, then Phil Spector's the guy to work with.
And I think and I think he just had a better ear. McCartney's fine. I think I just think he's all right. Like I was exemplified by how good Wings was, because that was his entire band. And if you look at Wings, you're like, is this all Paul McCartney has to offer
I
here?
thought you meant the sitcom based in Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah. Did you know Paul McCartney created Wings,
Yeah.
the sitcom?
It's based off the band.
Yes.
He's like, I think we should get Steven Weber.
Yeah.
He's very funny.
And that other guy. Well, who was the other guy?
Thomas Hayden Church.
Thomas Hayden
Or
Church.
Monk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony Shalhoub would be
Shalhoub,
good.
that's what it is. Yeah.
He's from Wisconsin, by the way.
Oh, here we go.
Tony Shalhoub.
Shalhoub.
Okay, he also produced Death of a Ladies Man by Leonard Cohen and his final album, 1980, End of the Century by the Ramones.
Not their best album?
No, but
Not very memorable.
It's no Blitzkrieg Bop.
no.
I don't know why an English guy's saying that. Oh, is that McCartney still?
Yeah. Sure.
I don't remember it that much. I more remember hearing the stories about their interactions, the Ramones and Phil Spector, than I do about the songs.
Well, we're going to get into that right now.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it.
McCartney's still here.
Genius or madman? That is the question.
The age-old question.
Yes.
Yes.
Because Phil Spector, brilliant producer, but awful to deal with if you weren't doing what he wanted.
If you weren't at the top of your game.
Yeah.
If you're kind of fucking around doing drugs and just like wasting his time, he probably didn't like that.
No. But he might waste your time too.
Or he just might waste you.
Yeah.
Right.
Like he did his dad. I'm not.
Oh, there's a theory. There's a big theory.
That's a big theory.
Darlene Love recalls a time when she saw everybody clearing out of the studio. And when she asked, what's going on? Someone said, Phil's pulling out his gun again.
Again?
So
Wow.
he pulled out his gun. He's joking around. And she was like, why is he allowed to do this?
Yeah.
People are just enabling him. So, yeah, like you said, this is where he's getting paranoid,
Yeah.
power hungry, and becomes fascinated with guns.
He could have like a small man's complex too. That
100%.
He's like just to equalize, the playing field when he's like working up against the Ramones, who are crazy dudes. Also,
Yeah.
these are not normal people either. None of these people.
None of
are.
these
Yeah.
people are. Yeah, I mean, you got Lennon, Keitel.
Yeah. There's no normal people here. There's no regular Joes amongst this crew.
Yeah, and he was 5'5", in case you're wondering.
Okay, yeah.
So
He
not
grew-
a dwarf.
And he grew up
but-
in the Bronx too. I'm sure he took a lot of beatings down there.
Short King is what they call him.
Short
now.
King, yeah. There's a little bit better of a connotation to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another time when he was with Lennon in the studio, he grabbed the pistol from his hip holster and fired at the ceiling,
Yeah.
right near John Lennon's ear.
Holy shit.
And so then John Lennon's like, if you're going to shoot me, but don't take away my hearing.
Oh my God.
Thank
yeah.
God that's going to be the closest I'll ever be to a bullet.
Oh, fuck.
Yoko, I almost died today.
Oh.
Thank you for that concern, Yoko. That brief moment of concern of just... Thank you. Oh, that'd be a good song. Do that on stage. When we're with Chuck Berry, please.
Phil, shoot me now so I don't have to listen to Yoko and drink her cocoa.
I just imagine Phil Spector in, with the producer board with the guns in his hand, just like changing the gears and stuff and like shifting things up and down, but with guns.
Yeah. I mean, and another time he was chasing Lennon around the studio with the gun. Like,
What?
Like horseplay.
These poor English kids come over here. They got this nut 5'5" maniac from the Bronx, putting guns in their faces left and right.
I'm going to get ya!
Come on, Johnny boy.
And 1977 produces the Leonard Cohen album Death of a Ladies Man. They spent 3 drunken weeks together writing songs.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds like a decent time.
And their arguments would turn vicious sometimes. There was one instance where Leonard Cohen was feeling tired.
Yeah.
So he's like,
Older guy when he got famous like as an older guy.
Yeah. And if you've heard Leonard Cohen, it's like,
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Everybody knows.
Hallelujah. And so he's like, I'm going to sit this one out, and tomorrow I think it'll be better.
Yeah.
And then Phil Spector got his gun out, pointing it right at Cohen's neck, and said, no, you're not. Get your butt back in the studio, and we're going to lay the track down tonight.
You don't just put guns in people's faces. Like, this is crazy behavior.
Someone asked Leonard Cohen, like, why would you put up with that? And then he's like, there was a certain electricity about it. and I was fascinated by his process.
Process.
Yeah, gun to your neck. That's a process.
Such a dumb term when people are just like covering up lunatics.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when you could get away with that crazy behavior.
Yeah.
The album flopped,
Oh, wow.
and his fans didn't like it either. Cohen's fans. Well, it was the same Paul McCartney thing. Same with the Ramones.
Yeah.
They're like, it's too Phil Spectorized.
Oh, really?
You know, they wanted their raw artist. Everybody knows the dog is digging.
It's all like very sad, like weird
Yeah.
stuff.
It sounds like he's got the gun down his throat
Yeah.
while he's singing. Debbie Harry came out
Oh, boy.
and said
Blondie
that,
herself.
yeah, she went to his mansion once to discuss a possible collab.
Yeah.
And she ran off when he pulled out a .45 automatic and stuck it in her boot.
What?
Fuck.
Wait, in her boot?
Yeah, I don't know why.
That's a weird thing to happen.
Well, it's safer than in the throat
Was he threatening to shoot her foot off?
to be a fly on the wall
Yeah,
with
I
that
guess so.
meeting. And he pulled a revolver on Dee Ramone
Yep. This is what I heard about.
when he wanted to go home for the night and told him, "You're not going anywhere."
Man.
And then on another instance, even by the late 90s, he was up to these antics. Joan Rivers told a
Oh
story.
my God.
She's like, I'd heard the rumors about him, but I'm like, yeah, sure. I didn't believe him. Yeah, he's pulling guns on everybody.
Yeah.
Then she invited him to a party, and he ended up pulling a gun out on Walter Cronkite's daughter.
Oh my God.
So then they had him escorted out.
I would
Yeah, he
hope
just
so.
blows different people's heads off in the party, and Joan's just like, "Oh my God, who are you wearing? Who are you wearing?"
I'm wearing Walter Cronkite's daughter's blood. That's who I'm wearing.
Oh my God.
What a fucking
I'm
maniac.
wearing gunpowder.
Whose brains are you wearing?
And that brings us to Phil's chaotic personal life. His first marriage to Annette Marar.
So different Annette that was in the first
Different
band.
Annette.
Wow, two Annettes.
Of the Spectres 3, another group he had produced long ago.
Oh, I thought that was his ex-wives, the Spectre 3.
Yeah.
That's just shitting out group.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was after the teddy bears.
Yeah, he's just running out of names.
True. He got rid of one Annette and went for another Annette.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look out, Annette Benning.
Yeah.
You're next.
Well, he's dead, but
Yeah.
Now he needs another
she
Bertha.
dodged that bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bertha. If he married a Bertha, that'd be kind of interesting.
That'd be weird.
Eventually, Phil started having an affair with Ronnie Bennett.
Of the Ronettes.
Yeah, and divorced Annette in 1966. Ronnie became Mrs. Phil Spector in 1968.
Lucky her.
Mrs. Philip Spector.
Yeah. They adopted a son named Dante in 1969.
like the devil.
They adopted Damien.
Yeah. and then Beelzebub.
Yeah.
And get this, he tells Ronnie to pretend she's pregnant so that they'll think that she gave birth to the baby.
Oh my God.
Pretend you're pregnant. Your kid's 10.
Yeah.
Later on,
He's smoking.
Yeah.
he's like a 48-year-old.
Yeah. Woo, yeah. That guy just came out of me. You wouldn't believe it.
He's got a receding hairline.
Yeah.
Hey, Daddy.
He's a shoe salesman.
You want to buy some shoes? Later on, he surprised Ronnie with twins for Christmas. Louis and Gary.
What is he just going out and finding kids and then bringing them back home?
And when I say he surprised her, he basically acted like they were bicycles or something. And
He put them under the
by
tree?
basically.
What?
Yeah.
They're like stocking stuff for kids? What
And
the
Ronnie's like, oh, okay. I mean, obviously, they're her kids. She loves them.
fuck? Yeah.
But that was a very weird way to present it. No discussion.
Yeah.
Just a complete shock to her.
Yeah, I got what you wanted.
She says that the first year was good of the marriage.
Yeah, right.
I can't imagine.
Define good, yeah, with this maniac.
Yeah, he put the gun away. Now he's just stealing kids.
Yeah.
He's got a lot going on.
He didn't shoot me once.
And somehow, with Darlene Love, the Crystals, the Ronettes, they all were fine with what went down in the studio for some reason. They don't have that much bad to say about him as a producer,
Yeah.
even though he's a maniac.
Yeah. They like the result.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the greatest pop songs ever
We're at
produced.
gunpoint. Yeah.
That's what Gunpoint does.
Yeah.
That's what Joe Jackson did to Michael.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's what my dad would always say about the Beach Boys or a lot of these people. Like, they got them working.
Yeah.
Like these maniac dads that would like fucking destroy their kids'
Yeah.
lives.
Say what you say about the years of torment.
Yeah.
You got him working.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Michael turned out fine.
Yeah. Look at
Yeah.
He wasn't messed up.
this future episode.
Yeah, dead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
coming in 2023, Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Get ready.
Don't stop till you get enough.
Is he here?
Oh, yeah.
I'm here. I'll see you in 2023. Ronnie says that after that first happy year, things were extremely dysfunctional. Her music career stalled because she was held hostage in the mansion for years.
Wow.
And when I say held hostage, he would lock the doors from the inside. There was barbed wire out on the
Wow, it
gates.
sounds like a horror movie being married to this guy.
And when she would run errands, he would make her drive with an inflatable life-size doll in the passenger seat, and it looked like him. So then men wouldn't hit on her.
Like driving by.
Yeah.
That's like a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode where he wants to go in the
Carpool
the
lane.
Carpool lane.
Except this is just for so that men don't bother her.
Yeah.
It probably got more people attracted to her. Like, oh, she's out of her mind.
Yeah.
Exactly.
She'll
Like,
date me.
look, I was gonna hit on you, but I saw your doll, and
So I had a
clearly
sex doll.
you're
Yeah.
married.
Yeah. Everyone knows it's clearly a fake thing. They're just like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's got its mouth wide open. Just a sex doll.
Just put your gun right in there.
On other occasions, Phil would tie her up and lock her in the closet.
Oh my God.
Dante and Gary later alleged that he abused them as well. Dante says he was blindfolded and forced to have simulated sex with his dad's girlfriend,
What?
and that Phil would call it a learning experience.
Okay. What?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a house of
Jeez.
horrors going on.
It is.
It was probably a nice house though.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
a
my-
nice house
This
of
is my
horrors.
dad creeping in.
Yeah.
He's a provider.
Say what you will about the sexual assault.
To simulate sex, it was on a nice carpet.
It's kind of like Bob Crane. Remember, he would tell his son about the bimbos he was having
he would
sex
tell
with.
his son about
God.
everything.
I mean, it's not as bad as, having the bimbo go in the room for your son,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
there's lines that are being blurred.
Yeah.
Thank you. In 1972, Ronnie fled the mansion barefoot and ran away. Why was she barefoot? Because Phil would hide her shoes so she couldn't run away.
Oh my God.
This
It's like sleeping with the enemy with Julia Roberts.
beyond dysfunctional.
Wow.
The divorce was finalized in 1974. Also that same year, Phil is injured in a car wreck in Hollywood, and he's almost killed.
Oof.
Severely injured.
God, that would have been the best thing to happen to his family.
Yeah. They would probably be like, thank God.
Yeah.
You sure he's dead?
And for him.
Oh, it was just a sex doll.
for him, too. His legacy, that would have been the best.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Lana Clarkson would still be alive. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can't go too
And-
far into the episode yet.
And those songs and stuff. But
He didn't do anything. He did the Ramones after that, but
Yeah.
we could live without
for the
End of
most part,
century.
yeah, some of his best work was behind him at this time.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, yeah.
It was all behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after the accident, he had extensive head injuries. It caused him to adopt the practice of wearing wigs.
What?
Yeah, because he had fucked up his scalp.
Oh, in the car.
Same thing
accident.
happened to Michael Jackson after the
Oh.
Pepsi commercial.
Yeah.
They say that's when he started wearing wigs full time.
And that happened to Joe Pesci too on the set of Home Alone.
gone fishing.
They burned the top of his head off.
Oh shit!
Anyway.
Is that real?
No,
Yeah,
they didn't.
no,
Are
they
you
did.
fucking with us?
They really burned his
You're
head.
thinking of the scene in the movie.
No,
They really put a blowtorch on his head. It's
No.
a documentary, Home Alone. Did you know that? He's like, frickin' John Hughes, frickin' motherfucker.
CBS News, December 1st. Joe Pesci says he got serious burns to his head during making of Home Alone.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sucks, but it was a big hit.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
So
sure it was
in my dad's, rationale, it was all worth it.
Good payday.
Yeah.
It led to Home Alone 2, of course.
Yeah, of course, the classic. and,
Wow.
then 3 Lost in New York.
Yeah, he really did.
No, that was 2.
That was 2.
Yeah.
Oh, that was with Trump.
Yes.
Yeah. 3 is the one without Macaulay or Joe Pesci.
Yeah, Back to the Miners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
Joe Pesci reveals Home Alone 2 fire hat prank went wrong. I sustained serious burns to the top of my head.
Told you.
By Variety.
Yeah, but he didn't wear like
.com.
hair piece. No, he does wear hair pieces actually.
He
But
might.
was it in the blowtorch scene?
It must have been. That was the only time that he got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if it was another scene?
Yeah.
He's like, well, I did well in the blowtorch.
Yeah, when they were
sequence."
just staking out the place before it all goes down.
Yeah.
It's the scene where he just walks into the house at the beginning, pretending to be the cop.
Yeah.
Somehow the lights burned his head. Well, that was a great Christmas fact
Yeah.
in our Christmas episode.
You're welcome.
So he becomes a recluse after the accident. And here's a clip from a documentary called All You Need Is Love that he filmed around this time.
Let's see it.
Aren't you lonely in this big house? Must be very lonely.
Oh, jeez.
All them rooms to roam around in.
Like a one-man show.
Damn, it must be lonely.
Damn.
He looks like a British judge or something with that.
You know what I say?
Stupid powdered wig.
I
Yeah.
say, you ever live in one room? Very lonely.
It's like Howard Hughes.
Just you in the bathroom, man.
Okay.
I don't
You
see
in
what
the
his kids
sink,
were
you
talking
in the
about.
toilet.
Yeah.
Loneliness is a state of mind.
He seems pretty well adjusted to
Beware
me.
beware that guy. He's a sedentary dog, whatever it said there.
You ever make your child have sex with your girlfriend?
This reminds me. Remember Conan would do Celebrity Secrets?
yeah.
You ever lock your wife in the closet?
Yeah.
You ever make your wife ride around with a sex doll that's dressed just like you? Just so.
Ever put a gun in Deborah Harry's boot?
Oh, and remember when Conan would do the inappropriate?
Yeah.
Inappropriate.
Inappropriate.
You could say this about a lot of his antics.
Yeah. What the fuck is he doing in that house?
You saw it.
I will-
Going insane.
I will say though, good shot with the billiard table.
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Well done.
Well,
He's a perfectionist. In even going completely insane, he's a perfectionist in that.
you
too.
can make good art while being a lunatic.
Yeah. Look at Lars von Trier.
I mean, this is exactly what happened to everybody during the pandemic, though. Like, we all became that.
Yeah, we were that. Some version of that.
Yeah.
Ever be in the bathroom lonely?
We should lip sync that sometime.
Yeah, we should do a reenactment.
Yeah, recreation. Yeah. Phil, as you could tell, lonely guy. He didn't like when people left him. He said it would change the chemistry.
But like, what do you mean? People like
His
like
brain chemistry.
people he was dating, or just like
And
collaborators?
all of the above.
Oh, really?
Even if you're just hanging out with him. It would change the chemistry of the room if you left. Like if you got up and left right now,
Yeah.
you'd be changing the chemistry.
Okay.
And that's not okay.
What a weird guy.
So you got to catch a bullet now.
I know. Yeah.
And even in that last clip from the documentary, he reportedly asked the film crew to stay a little longer and hang out. Do you need any more
he's like
shots?
he's like a lonely guy. Really.
He's like Bryan Cranston in the second last episode of Breaking Bad.
okay.
Where he's trying to get Robert Forster to stay longer with him and play cards when he's
Yeah.
hiding out.
Yeah.
This is what Phil Spector's life is like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Extreme codependence.
Yes. It turned from sad to sinister when he would occasionally lock people inside the mansion, making the act of exiting a difficult endeavor.
That's like a Bronx Tale. He's like, now you can't leave.
Yeah. He was weird like that. He would even do it to friends. Lock them inside.
That's insane. My friend,
I can't wait till my company leaves most of the time.
I know.
when, are they leaving already? Yeah, they've been there 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I have a reverse lock on my door.
Get me out of here.
I know. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
The death of John Lennon in 1980 hit him very hard. Perhaps that's why he retreated from the limelight for good.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah,
was
he's probably
done with
upset. He was like, I could have killed him.
Yeah.
I should have been the one.
right.
That should have been my bullet.
He's jealous of Chapman.
Yeah.
How dare you overshadow me?
Yeah.
My friend, my murder. Okay. Like he did his dad.
You don't upstage me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who hasn't read Catcher in the Rye?
Yeah.
I'm surprised he wasn't into Catcher in the Rye. Remember when we talked about all the lunatics are into it for some reason?
Yeah.
Yeah. New Yorker also, surprisingly. I think he's just like, because he's so out there.
Right.
Even that's too, it's not enough for him.
And rumors started to spread around town that he had gone insane.
Gone?
Just starting.
Gone,
Yeah.
Manic depression? Was he bipolar? His sister Shirley suffered from mental illness later
really?
in her life. Yeah.
It's a family affair. How about Bertha? Was she okay?
Well, not really. I mean, her husband killed himself.
Yeah. And she's got these crazy kids.
Yeah, and they would fight all the time, which is why he left so early to start the teddy bears.
Yeah. Imagine how bad that house had to be in order for him to leave, because he doesn't want to leave anyone ever.
Annette from the teddy bears actually remembers how badly they would fight. She said it was vicious. You couldn't be around it.
It sounds awful. It sounds like the worst house ever.
Yeah, and then he just continued that dynamic as he went through life.
I bet, you ever have those kids, you went to their houses and you're like, this is rough.
Yeah.
I hate this place. I'm out of here.
Oh, yeah.
I would have a friend every time I would go over his place, he would fight his dad in
Yeah.
the living room and just knock everything over. And I'm just like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Am I supposed to fight the dad next?
Yeah.
I got winner here.
Yeah.
Kyle, get over here.
Yeah.
And then his mom would just be like, get the fuck out of here, all of you.
Oh,
Like, why am
yeah.
I involved in this?
Yeah.
Did that ever happen? Yeah, where one of the parents would get unreasonably mad
Oh.
while you were there.
All
Yeah.
the
and
time.
it would be so frightening.
Yeah. All the time.
My friend, him and his brother were fighting, and he threw a fork at the brother, and it stuck into the brother's leg.
Well, that sounds kind of funny.
It was kind of funny, yeah. The brother was he was a bigger guy, so he could
Wow.
sustain it, but it was just like, this is like, one of those things. What the fuck am I doing there?
Yeah, it's like, Cletus, get over here.
Yeah.
You didn't change the laundry.
Yeah. Like, can't you save these insane family fights until after I leave?
Should I go? Or-
Which should be now.
Yeah.
and they look at you. What do you want for dinner?
Yeah. Why aren't you staying for dinner?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Sit down.
Stick around. Yeah, sit down. We're locking the door from the inside.
We're having Chef Boyardee.
Yeah, the dinner sucks. Like,
It's not even a good
the
dinner.
company sucks. The dinner sucks.
It was rarely a good dinner when you had to stay for dinner.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
hot dogs and beans or something.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I right here?
In 1989, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But Phil Spector made a scene with his bodyguards and rambled about George Bush during his speech.
Pro or against?
This aggression will not stand,
Who
man.
can
Wait,
tell? And he pushed Darlene Love out of the way.
Oh, nice. George W. Bush. He was talking about.
Bush Senior.
HW.
Oh,
Of
HW.
course. This is
Yeah.
1989.
Oh, I thought you said 1999. I'm
no,
sorry.
89.
Yeah.
In 1982, he had twins with his girlfriend, Janice Zavala. Nicole and Phil Jr. were the twins.
So like actual
Actual
of his. Yeah, he
kids.
didn't just go and
No.
find them and then bring them home
I'm
somehow.
Stealing from a Kroger parking lot.
Yeah.
the other kids are out of the picture by this point.
So he moved on from the kids.
Well, they clearly hated him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the guy was 48, so like he's
Better
great.
for everybody.
You
Yeah.
guys leave me, I'll replace you.
They
Been
relocate.
recast.
Yeah, like Valerie.
Yes. Yeah.
They relocated from Beverly Hills to the Pasadena area.
Nice area.
Tragedy struck in 1991 when Phil Jr., one half of the twins, died of leukemia.
Oh, man. That's rough.
And the relationship fizzled after that with Janice, his girlfriend. But she would continue to work for him.
What?
Yeah.
Doing what?
I don't know, like
Administrative stuff?
Administrative work.
Stapling papers?
picking up this, picking up that.
Yeah, because at this point, he's not really working that much.
He's
anymore.
not.
Yeah.
There's a lot of false starts.
He's just living off of royalties and just kind of living off his wealth.
He was trying to do something with Celine Dion
Oh, man.
in the mid-90s, and that did not
What a
work
collaboration
out.
that
Yeah.
would've- yeah.
Resulted in nothing.
He put a gun to her arm or something.
Yeah, and he didn't get along with Renee,
Oh, yeah.
her husband.
That's a very strong-minded person. Yeah, maybe Renee's like, he's gambling every night.
She's like, go see what Renee thinks.
Renee don't like the gun.
Renee told me to tell you. Renee does not like the guns and stuff. He lost very bad at blackjack last night, and it's really making things worse.
Half our fortune.
Yeah. He gambled all the money away.
Yeah.
Poor Renee. Rest in peace.
Jeez.
Yeah. Maybe he's playing a poker game in the sky right now
Yeah.
with Phil
And
Spector.
he's losing badly.
For Phil, life became kind of a living hell after his son died. He just wasn't motivated to do anything, as he already wasn't, really.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Apparently, though, he was trying to do the family thing,
Yeah.
for what it's worth.
Yeah, making his son have sex with his girlfriends.
No,
Family fun in the sun.
Nicole, the surviving twin, she seems to really love her dad.
Really? She's like the one person speaking on his
Yeah,
behalf.
she speaks in the Showtime documentary, and she says that it was all normal when she grew up. She had what she considered a normal dad
Yeah.
and loved him. So
Well, that's good.
yeah, she seems to have turned out well.
Yeah. Wow. Surprised against all odds, I guess.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe he had a momentary normal.
He came down to earth for one moment.
Yeah,
and acted
exactly.
Normal. Yeah. Is that depicted in the Pacino version of Phil Spector?
No, but we'll get to that.
Ooh, I love this one kid. Ooh. You're my favorite twin.
Because you didn't die.
You didn't die.
You're stronger.
You almost make me want to put a gun in your boot. Ooh. Yeah.
Boots are made for walking. How?
Whoa.
These boots are made for shooting.
Ever held a gun? Woo! Yeah. Ah. Ooh. That's the entire movie. Just that. Ah. Ooh.
I'd pay good money for that.
Yeah. It's just a caricature, but it's Al Pacino, really.
Yeah.
More than it is Phil Spector.
In 1998, Phil Spector bought a replica of an 18th century Pyrenean chateau in Alhambra,
Okay.
Where the fuck is, that's
near Pasadena.
That's near
Yeah.
Pasadena, yeah.
It's a sprawling 33-room mansion with 88 steps leading up to the front driveway.
88? Like a
the-
piano key?
Yes, you
Oh,
got it.
wow. Corny. That's
The
way too many
long
steps.
and winding steps.
He probably
Yeah.
paid so much money for that bullshit too.
Oh,
He probably stiffed some
it was like $1
contractors.
million. I'm surprised it was so cheap.
If they made sounds and Tom Hanks danced on it, then I'd see it. But other than that, fuck those steps.
Well,
Oh wow!
it's not too late.
You're just
Could
saying
buy it.
You like Big. the
I love
movie.
Big.
Okay, that's a long way to go around.
Another
saying-
child that has sex with a grown woman.
That's true. she wasn't that shocked enough to find out
No.
she was fucking a kid.
A 12-year-old.
Yeah,
Wait, who?
In the movie Big.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I thought you were talking about
Because he gets out of the car and then all of a
Asia
sudden
Argento.
his clothes are too big for him. She's
Yeah.
like, "Whoa, all right, that's a thing that happens."
Yeah.
I was fucking that kid.
Asia Argento's like, what's wrong with that?
Oh, it's better now.
See, they normalized it, so we can do it now.
So yeah, he moves the family there. He's basically raising his daughter there, and he says that she inspired him to be a better person.
Oh, so it must have stuck.
He
Wow.
stopped drinking in 1997 and
Smart.
remained sober until around 2002.
Ooh, we had a little
what
relapse.
happened?
Yeah, a little relapse. Everything was fine though.
In January 2003, he gave his first interview in 25 years to Mick Brown for the Daily Telegraph. Quote, I take medication for schizophrenia, but I wouldn't say I'm schizophrenic. But I have a bipolar personality, which is strange. I'm my own worst enemy. I have devils inside that fight me. I have not been well. I wasn't insane, but I wasn't well enough to function as a regular part of society, so I chose not. End quote.
I disagree about the insane part.
The article was published on February 1st, 2003, with the headline, Found, Pop's Lost Genius.
That's not a great quote to put out 2 days before you murder somebody.
Yeah.
Who knew that was going to happen?
What is the right one, though?
Yeah.
Like, imagine you go to a PR firm, like, I'm trying to find out the best quote to use before I murdered someone.
I did not kill him.
Ooh, I didn't do it. Okay. I know I'm crazy.
Al Pacino played one of the robots in iRobot. I did not kill him. Ooh,
I didn't do it.
I did not do it.
Then he smacks Will Smith.
That's for Chris Rock.
That's for future crimes. Whoa.
Yeah. Whoa, Minority Report's here too.
And Colin Farrell, who stars in the movie that's currently numbered
like an Al Pacino one-man show where he's just riffing on just random topics and
future
stuff.
things.
Yeah, future things.
So I was thinking we could take a break from Phil Spector for a moment.
Okay. To talk about what?
Lana Clarkson.
Who's this?
She is an actress and model.
Ooh.
She was born on April 5th, 1962 in Long Beach, California.
The LBC.
Yep.
Snoop Dogg and Cameron Diaz's stomping grounds.
That's right. They went to high school together.
They did.
Yeah.
Did they
So weird.
really?
Yes.
She sold her
No.
Yes.
He sold her weed or the other
Yeah.
way around or something.
Yeah, he sold her weed.
She sold him weed.
You never know.
That'd be badass.
Yeah.
That's how he started.
Yeah.
She taught him how to rap.
Yeah, they were both Crips together.
Yeah.
So Lana, she's a 6 foot tall blonde, striking actress.
She just towers over him.
Yeah. Well,
Anyone does.
yeah, anyone does. So did Leonard Cohen.
Yeah.
So did Dee Dee Ramone.
Not when he's got those guns out. He's 7 feet tall.
When I climb you like a mountain.
Who was that?
Phil Spector.
Oh, okay. I thought that was Lois Griffin for a second.
Peter.
I want to climb you like a mountain.
She launched her acting career in the early 1980s with a role as Mrs. Vargas in Fast Times at Ridgemount High.
Oh, okay.
TV show bit parts include Three's Company, Who's the Boss,
Love
Knight
it.
Rider,
Love it.
and Night Court.
My favorite, Night Court.
Movies that Lana appeared in: Brainstorm. Does that sound familiar?
Not really.
Yes.
What movie is that? Is that a John Landis movie?
It's a 1983 film with Christopher Walken and Natalie Wood.
Oh, yes. That's where they kind of were hanging out together. That's right.
Yes.
I like this movie.
I'm going to kill you.
You're going to die at my hands.
she,
I'm going to throw you off the boat.
Get off the boat.
she appeared in Scarface.
What part did she play in that?
I think in the Babylon Club.
Oh, okay. Maybe some random girl that Stephen Bauer was going after or something?
Well, imagine the movie. All you can picture is Al Pacino with a chainsaw.
Yes.
Then a bunch of like fluorescent bikinis.
Yeah.
She was one of the
bikinis. Yeah. She wasn't the chainsaw.
No.
She was the bikini.
Yeah. By the way, Scarface, think of the irony there.
Cockroach.
Al Pacino played Phil Spector in a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
That's true.
She also made an appearance in Amazon Women on the Moon,
Ooh.
directed by John Landis.
Sounds promising.
All the connections.
There's a lot of
the
connections.
die connections are being made here.
Later on, one of her last credits in 2001 was in the James Dean TV movie with James Franco. And who did she play in that?
Who?
Jane Mansfield.
Really?
Your power to the daughter.
Kyle, Jane Mansfield.
Yes.
We're
Jane
making
Mansfield.
connections here.
We are.
So she must have been, a pretty good-looking person to be able
Yes.
to play Jen Mansfield.
But her most prosperous Hollywood collaboration was with Roger Corman, the one and only,
Yeah.
in a series of movies, including Death Stalker and the Barbarian Queen movies, which inspired the series Xena Warrior Princess.
Oh.
Did you know James Cameron came up under his tutelage?
A lot of people did. So did
Jack
Scorsese.
Nicholson, Jack Nicholson also.
Yeah.
He came up under Kevin Sorbo's tutelage.
Yeah.
I mean, Lucy Lawless.
What was that Kevin Sorbo moment where he's like trying to read lines? He's reading stage direction. He's like, act scared. And he thinks it's his line.
I don't remember.
That's hilarious. I have to find that.
So here we have the trailer for one of the Barbarian Queen movies.
Trust your power to the daughter of such who held it in another time. Trust to me what no man can touch
Whoa.
without the blessing of womankind.
In 48 hours, there won't be a rebel left alive.
God, means that shit.
That's her?
Win!
Bursting with emphatic intensity, exploding
Gorgeous.
with fanatic force. Nothing could tame this blonde cyclone and her band of ravishing warriors.
Ravishing warriors.
Lana Clarkson, as you've never seen her before.
Or again.
Or again.
Barbarian Queen 2, the Empress strikes back.
This looks like a Monty Python movie or something.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Roger Corman movies, they're fun. It's kind of like Trauma,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but less violent.
It's
Love
low budget, kind of ridiculous. Attack of the Killer Tomato.
And Tomatoes.
Which I just found out the main guy from that, the guy who also originally played Gomez Adams, is Sean Astin's dad.
John Astin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea. That's Rudy's dad this whole time.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
And
that-
what
Mind
is-
blowing.
Did that
why
take
does-
you out of it?
Yeah, it makes no sense to me. They look
Why?
nothing alike.
It makes no sense that in Hollywood there's nepotism
Yeah,
going
well,
on.
yeah.
brand new to you.
But
Yeah.
I didn't know Sean Astin was like a legacy guy.
Yeah.
Weird.
How else do you think they jammed him in these movies? And you think
Who
he's just
knows?
off pure talent?
Yeah.
I actually have one that will blow your mind.
I'm ready for it.
Robert Downey Jr. is the son of Robert Downey Sr.
Get out of here.
Her career started to stall in the 1990s because she made the mistake of getting a little older in Hollywood.
Yeah, that's what
Big
happens.
mistake.
Unforgivable.
Unfortunately.
The Wall is undefeated.
The wall of
Sound.
The wall of
beauty.
sound. Wall of shame.
She started to do more voiceover work and commercials, and she wanted to pivot towards stand-up comedy.
Oh, that's where people always fail to.
Get some yucks.
Yeah.
She made a tape.
Get some yucks.
she made a tape, and I saw some of it, and she had a nice delivery, but it was more like a one-woman show though,
Yeah.
making fun of her bimbo persona and all
Yeah.
that. I think it worked. So I don't know, apart from the one-woman show aspect, how she would have fared, at
In today's
Chuckles
climate
and
or-
Poughkeepsie
Or
but-
Ha Ha Cafe in North Hollywood.
Yeah, she wasn't a dummy.
Yeah.
She knew she's not going to get the same role as, the bikini and Scarface forever.
The clock's ticking. She
Mhm.
needs to make a pivot in her career.
And she made a website with a message board early on,
Really? She
which
was like
is pretty
first to the internet.
innovative. Yeah.
Yeah. This is like 98, 99 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she invested in Amazon,
Oh, yeah.
and she came up with the Facebook.
Yeah.
Who needs any roles after that?
She bet on the Yankees winning the 1999 World Series.
Yeah. Marty gave her the book.
Yeah. Yeah.
She regularly volunteered for the AIDS charity Project Angel Food, even when it wasn't so trendy.
I heard of Angel Food. I was going to actually volunteer there, but I just never showed up.
You said that out loud? You're proud of this?
No, I felt very bad about it, but I was working and I just couldn't do it.
Well, she showed up.
Okay. Okay.
I don't mean to do a laundry list of all her accomplishments, but
Yeah.
it must be known she was a very nice lady.
She was a kind person.
Yes, and multifaceted. She was savvy.
Yeah.
And I think
she's always hustling.
I think she would have become more known with some role.
Yeah.
Someone would have given it to her.
Like a good sitcom or something.
Yeah,
she could have
exactly.
got, like, a long
she'd be
range.
perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think she would be just
like
fine.
a Spin City or something like that. Yeah.
But even later, like in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Because in the 90s, she's still struggling. I think because she was still doing Roger Corman movies, just like what happened to more famous people, Pamela Anderson.
Yeah.
She tries to audition for LA Confidential.
Oh my God.
And is laughed out of the room because they just see her as Baywatch.
Well, that I found that out in the Pam and Tommy show. I don't know if you heard.
Oh,
got it
that's
from
of course.
Yeah, and I was like kind of shocked that she thought she was gonna get the Kim Basinger role in LA Confidential, and she was so let down. I'm like, did you really think you were gonna get that? Or maybe she could have. I don't know.
Yeah, well, now I don't know if it's because of Heath Ledger and Kevin Nolan's version of Batman: The Dark Knight, but like now I feel like
Christopher Nolan.
Who did I say?
Kevin
Nolan.
Kevin Nealon.
Kevin Nealon. Yeah.
More like Kevin Nolan.
Yeah.
Nolan. No, thank you.
Now I feel like, what did they call it? Like stunt casting before. Now I feel like people actually want to convert like comedians into good actors, or like they want to mix it up now. It seems like.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Mark Maron was in Joker and like a couple other things. So.
Yeah. Sam Morril too.
Yeah.
But for some reason, when there's a beautiful blonde who's tall, people have trouble accepting them as anything else.
Yeah.
Even if they're good.
The industry can be very cruel to people like that.
In 2001, she produced a tape called Lana Unleashed, and she made it to promote herself. She played different characters, like a talking Barbie doll, a Las Vegas showgirl, and even Little Richard.
Whoa. She didn't do the blackface, did she?
Well, I was going to pull out the clip later, but we could do it now.
No, we got to talk about it now.
Because they played it during the trial.
Oh, my God. I thought you were going to say they played at her funeral.
Oh, my God. I see the video.
Wait a second. Wait. Which side played at the trial? Phil's?
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, my. This is terrifying, dude.
Wait, can we see it?
Yeah, 1 second. Sorry, I'm trying to get it queued up. Oh, my Lord.
I already feel nervous about this.
I do too.
You should be.
I don't know why, but I feel unsettled.
This is very unnerving.
Welcome to my show.
Oh my God.
I'm the originator, and I'm so proud to be y'all here on the Home Shopping Network to present to you my latest contribution to the world of beauty. Now let's get down to the nitty-gritty, ladies. I am not one to talk with y'all on a little help me a cosmetic technique. Now, as y'all know, I am the king of rock and roll, the innovator, the emancipator, the originator, and the queen of making money, and all it stands for.
Is it because the prices were so high? That's why she got in trouble for that.
Oh, you want to do it again, Kyle?
Yeah.
Play that at the end of the podcast. The sign off there. Jesus Christ.
It wasn't as frowned upon then, even though Bamboozled came out a year earlier.
Yeah, but that was like a response probably to that video. Bamboozled was.
All right, so I guess what that shows is, she was all over the place.
Some people don't know that, I think they know racism exists, but they don't know how racist they're being in scenarios like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give her credit. She went for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she's doing it to an 11.
She's hustling.
Yeah.
She went for something.
You know what? Attention to detail I did notice there?
What?
She wasn't just doing black face. She was doing black hand also.
Oh, yeah.
The coloring was on her hand also. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man.
It's called commitment to the bit, people.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Little Richard.
Oh, my God.
Oh
my God.
I wonder how many takes that took to get that down.
That is going to be in my nightmares.
I know. She really is going for it.
Yeah.
I like how that's the one thing that's going to be in your nightmares so far.
Yeah.
Not Phil Spector.
No, yeah, or the gun in the boot. Was that like her SNL audition tape?
Exactly.
Like,
she wanted to do something like SNL.
real or like Mad TV or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything. And so
Imagine Quincy Jones watching that for Mad TV.
a bunch of characters, and she thought, okay, this shows what I can do.
Yeah.
And clearly she didn't have a filter. You know,
Obviously not. Well, and also no one's there telling her maybe this is not the best idea.
Jimmy Fallon's like, yeah, it's okay. Just do it.
I got my own coming.
Christmas Eve 2001, she's at a party and she's Irish dancing with her friends, doing an Irish jig in 6-inch stiletto heels.
Ooh, she's going for it again.
I couldn't see Michael Flatley doing that in heels.
She slips on a rug and breaks both her wrists during the dance.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because she tried to put her hands down, but the black paint was still on them and they just slipped.
Jesus.
Snap, snap.
The Irish jig accident. A whoop, ba-ba-doo, ba-ba-ba, ow! Ow! Yeah, she's trying to do it in blackface and someone pushes her.
That's probably Little Richard or something.
She sends her tape to Little Richard.
Oh my God.
Then she gets arrested.
Yeah. You're gonna love this impression I do of you.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It blows Billy Crystal's Sammy Davis out of the water.
Oh my God. I didn't even think of that. Jeez.
So Lana was out of commission for the better part of 9 months.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to come back from. Like, you need a lot of help if you break both of your wrists.
Yeah, she couldn't even hold the phone.
Yeah.
And this is right after, for better or worse, she made that tape.
Yeah.
And she's shopping it around.
Imagine the guys at CAA popping that in and watching it.
They're like, we gotta hire her.
I mean, yeah, that becomes like a story that people. Oh, God.
Boy.
Here we go.
That's Billy Crystal and Sammy Davis.
Oh, I thought that was Lana.
Oh,
What is
no.
going on in this world?
Hey, babe.
After recovering from the wrist breaking,
Yeah, double
she's-
wrist break.
she's excited to get back in the game.
Yeah.
But she's set back because she lost almost a year.
Yeah.
Her Lil Richard's out of date now. It's not relevant anymore.
Yeah.
It wasn't great to begin with, or good.
Or relevant then.
Yeah, irrelevant then.
What she does is she takes a job at the House of Blues on the Sunset Strip as a hostess. January 2003.
Oh man, that's a fall from grace there.
Don't
Jesus.
judge.
I'm not judging, but it is. It's
Yeah, it's a step.
That was our me and
in
Kyle,
another direction.
Me and Kyle's guttural reaction was like, "Oh Jesus!"
They say it was strategic because then she would be in front of the industry's top.
Well, you got the Comedy Store right across the street there.
She really believed that.
Really?
Oh,
that
God.
it was gonna. Kyle, hold your
Kyle can't take
reactions
it
for
anymore.
a second.
Kyle's reacting more than when he saw the blackface thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, she really, Anyway, she had hope that she would meet the right person and they would be enamored by her.
It's just like saying, like, oh, I'm going to be a janitor at Rockefeller Center
At
and hope that
Google.
SNL casts me as
Yeah.
like the next guy. It's
Yeah.
like, no, it's not. It's not how it works. It's not how it's going to happen. It's not ever how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's either you got like talent right out the gate, or people going to react to her tape or something, or that's it.
Yeah. So I feel bad. I just know too many people that have concocted situations like this.
schemes, like this is like flawless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they think it's going to be the next big thing, and it's sad.
Like a good networking possibility
Yeah.
option.
I'm gonna clean the porta potties at the Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. People worked at the Hollywood Improv thinking it's going to lead to them being,
Yeah.
discovered, and it's just like you're pretty much doing that, cleaning the.
Yeah. What are you doing over at
The
the improv? I'm snaking drains over here.
Yeah. I'm their house plumber right now.
Yeah, and her wrists are finally feeling better.
She's like, I
Yeah.
feel great. Anybody want to cast me in anything?
Sorry,
For listeners who can't see, Kyle's doing a hilarious bent wrist impression.
I'm good. How are you?
That brings us to February 2nd, 2003.
Ooh.
Day that will live in infamy.
The article in the Daily Telegraph had just come out. Remember the title? It said, Pop's Lost Genius.
Yeah.
Phil's got a little pep in his step.
Even though it says he's lost.
We found him.
Yeah, we found him.
Exactly.
The murderer.
Whoa.
Janice, his ex-girlfriend, had stopped working for him recently. And so he was a little lonelier than usual.
Yeah.
He had emerged from seclusion and had been going out more often.
Yeah.
By this point. And remember, he started drinking again the year before.
Yeah.
Also recently.
I'm assuming maybe some of these places he's going to, he's just going alone to like a restaurant.
No. He has a longtime friend, Rami Davis, and they went to high school together.
Oh, okay.
And so he and Rami had been going out to dinner that weekend, all 3 nights.
Jeez.
And now it's Sunday.
I bet you Rami's getting kind of tired of him.
Oh, yeah. So this is their 3rd night going out to dinner.
Yeah.
They're doing it again.
Oh, jeez.
They're doing it again.
They're back. What are you doing here?
No.
Seinfeld's the maitre d'.
Yeah.
Around 7 p.m., Phil leaves his castle in a fancy Mercedes limo driven by Adriano de Souza.
Ooh. Who's that?
He's his limo driver.
That's his guy.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was like another former famous like person. Yeah. There's like like a tenor or something, or like a singer that just fall from grace.
Andrea Bocelli.
Yeah.
They pick up Rami in Studio City, and then they go to the Grill on the Alley in Beverly Hills.
Oh, okay.
For dinner. Spector talks to waitress Kathy Sullivan and tells her that he's going to take her out later that night. So if you're keeping up with me, he's with Rami Davis having dinner, but he's hitting on the waitress now.
Yes.
Because Rami's just a platonic friend.
Yeah. What a scumbag.
And Spector orders 2 daiquiris. It's not known if he finished them both. And Rami says that he was acting strange and she hadn't seen him drink in the 5 months since they had been reacquainted.
Yeah. You know how crazy Phil gets off of daiquiris.
Yeah. I assume he finished at least one of them, because why would he order a second one? Just like put it next to this other filled one that I haven't even touched.
It was mainly the mixing of booze and pills that made her concerned.
Oh, no. That's always a
telltale sign.
That's not a good thing.
Around 10 p.m., Spector drops Rami off at home.
So Spector's driving.
Well, no.
Yeah, he drove the limo driver home.
Yeah.
Adriano.
Adriano, yeah, of course.
Kathy and Phil go to Trader Vic's to keep the night going.
Not Trader Joe's.
No, Trader Vic's.
Trader Vic's.
Yeah, that's a bar.
Oh, okay. Is that still going?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then
We should head down there. That's stop of the tour.
he orders a Navy grog, which is a strong rum drink.
That sounds like such an old like country club drink.
And apparently it's like 2 drinks in one.
Yeah, like a Long Island iced tea. It's just a mess.
Afterwards, Kathy, the waitress, drops her car off at home and they continue on to Dantana's.
That's a very famous LA spot.
At about 1 a.m. Apparently, Phil had been going there since the 60s.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And then he drinks another Navy grog.
If I was a bartender and some old guy says, "Give me a Navy grog,"
Give me the grog.
I'd probably punch him in the face. Say, get out of here.
Around 2 a.m., they decide to go to the House of Blues. But Lana Clarkson stops him at the door. And he pulls a, "Don't you know who I am?" And she responds, "No, ma'am, I don't."
Good.
Lana thought he was a woman because he was wearing a long wig and had a feminine jacket.
Oh, yeah.
A white jacket.
He must have looked insane. If you saw some maniac come in look like that, I'd call the cops.
The manager steps in and tells Lana to treat Phil as if he's royalty, because that's Phil Spector.
Yeah.
he tells her, treat him like he's Dan Aykroyd, because Dan Aykroyd was co-owner of the House of Blues.
Oh, okay.
Could you imagine someone telling you to treat someone like they're Dan Aykroyd?
Yeah.
As if it wasn't already bad enough for her.
Yeah. Some
Now
crazy
she's-
conspiracy, some ghost conspiracy theorist maniac.
God. Now she's forced to treat Phil Spector
Yeah,
like he's fucking Aykroyd.
like Dan Aykroyd.
They get seated in the VIP foundation room, Kathy and Phil. But at this point, Kathy is done drinking. She's just having water. She's done.
Yeah,
She's done with Phil and with drinking.
yeah, sounds smart.
Phil orders some more rum, and he's annoyed that she's drinking water.
Yeah.
So then he's like, all right, get out of here if you're not going to drink with me.
Oh wow.
Wow, he actually kicked somebody out.
Yeah, so then the driver takes Kathy home and then returns.
I feel like Phil does this a lot. You know, he's just like, my driver will send you home, and he big times people at like local LA haunts like this.
Yeah.
The way he would shuffle the artists in the studio.
Yeah, probably.
Lana comes over and apologizes for the confusion earlier. She asks Phil if there's anything more she can do with him, and he insists that she has a drink with him.
Mm.
He says, sit down, have a drink with me. But she says she cannot because she's working.
Yeah.
She checks in with the manager to see, if she should have a drink with him. And he says, no, you're working.
Yeah.
So then she tells him maybe later. Around 2:30 a.m., the manager chats with Phil by the elevators as the bar is closing down. Phil sees Lana again and says, you're the one who wouldn't let me in earlier.
Yeah.
And then Lana says, oh, it'll never happen again. I'll remember you next time. So she and Phil get on the elevator and they leave at the same time. She tells the manager, I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Rob Halford of Judas Priest performed there that night.
What?
And he's among the people who witnessed Lana and Phil talking with one another.
That's such a weird element or person to have involved in this.
Did you think he had anything to do with the
I
case?
did not.
Yeah.
Lana escorts Phil to the limo.
Yeah.
He begs her to come see his castle and have a nightcap.
Oh, man.
But it's too late for her and she doesn't want to go home with him. There's another version where she suggested the nightcap. But
that's the defense, probably.
Yeah, I find that hard to believe.
Yeah.
So Phil persists and she eventually caves in. Adriano drives them to Alhambra.
That's a tough one to say. Tough sentence.
Around 3 a.m.
Oh, man.
On the way, a James Cagney movie called Kiss Tomorrow Goodbye plays on a video screen in the vehicle.
Yikes.
What? This guy's
on the
old
nose.
school.
Yeah. Phil instructs the driver to stop at the bottom of the driveway and let them out, because then they can walk up the 88 steps together.
That's a chore.
Dude, I'd be fucking winded. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's 3 a.m. Like, for an old guy, like, he's got some, he burns the midnight oil. He's kind of crazy.
They disappear into the early morning darkness, and the driver goes around the back, and he's figuring that Lana will be ready to go home soon.
Yeah.
So he's on standby. 2 hours pass. It's now around 5 a.m. Suddenly, Adriano hears a distant sound of a pow and starts to look around for what it could be. As he drives up to the front, Phil opens the door, gun in his hand pressed by his side, and he says, I think I killed somebody.
Oh, my God. I think.
The driver then peers inside and sees Lana's body lifeless in a chair in the foyer. And then Adriano flees in fear. He drives to the bottom of the driveway in a state of panic, and he makes a call to Spector's assistant, Michelle Blaine, because I guess he said that was the first number that came up in his phone.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But she's sleeping, and then he puts in a call to 911. Kyle's got the picture of his hair.
Imagine if you open the door and this guy comes out being like, I just shot somebody.
No, or he says, I think I killed somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so
I think you might have, man.
Adriano probably doesn't know what to fucking do. Like, he's he's driving this guy. He knows he's crazy in the first place. He knows he's a little off kilter, but he also knows he's an important guy who did a lot of big things with a lot of influential people. So he's kind of stuck. He doesn't know what to do. Like when Heath Ledger died, you know, that masseuse didn't know to call 911 or to call, you know,
the Olsen twins.
The Olsen twins, like, assistant, you know.
The age-old question, you know.
Yeah, do you call 911 or the Olsen twins?
Yeah.
And they didn't even call the Olsen twins. They just called their, like, handlers or their, like, you know, Ray Donovan type guys.
Yeah. Fixers.
The fixers, yeah.
Adriano, by the way, is the only eye and ear witness to this crime.
Wow.
And we have the 911 call. This is from the documentary that Showtime just put out.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Adriano. I'm Felix Spector's driver. I think my boss killed somebody. Please, can you send the...
He rats on him right away.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Well,
he's like Tekashi X9 or whatever.
6ix9ine.
Yeah, whatever.
Snitch.
Snitch 9.
1700 Grandview? Yes.
I think my boss just killed somebody.
He may have killed somebody.
He's in the pool.
You have a lady on the floor, and he has a gun in his hand. Okay, stay on the line. Do not hang up.
Sounds like you might be right.
Yeah. Nail on the head.
Officers arrive within 3 minutes of the call.
That's a good response time.
I was thinking the same thing.
I wouldn't get that at my apartment. It'd probably be like 3 hours.
It took them 4 minutes to get up the 88 steps. I think that's why it took so long.
Yeah, they got to walk up the steps.
They find Lana Clarkson slumped in a white antique chair in the foyer, butt on the edge of the seat, legs stretched forward, purse hanging from her shoulder. And this position suggests that she wanted to leave.
Of course.
Blood is splattered over her face and neck. The bottom of her mouth has been blown off. Pieces of her broken teeth are scattered all over the room.
Oh my God.
The white acrylic thumbnail on her right hand has been badly chipped. And a .36 Colt revolver lays on the floor under her left leg. There are traces of blood on it, but it appears to have been tampered with a little bit.
The seat, her positioning?
The gun.
Oh.
Like it's been cleaned.
Like he tried to wipe his prints off it or something?
Who knows?
Like, who the fuck is going to believe that?
Yeah.
There's no one else there.
More blood is found in the toilet in a small adjacent bathroom.
Adriano's hemorrhoids.
Nice.
A bloody diaper sits on the floor by the trash bin
Wait,
in
what?
the bathroom.
Are you joking?
No.
Are you really not joking?
A bloody diaper. And because some people wrap their guns in diapers for extra lubricant.
Are you serious?
Yeah, this is how they take care of their guns. 100% serious. There was a bloody diaper in the bathroom.
I thought he had diapers.
This is a dipod first. This is like
first
a
bloody diaper.
Factoids.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's the first bloody diaper, but it's the first that we're learning they're used in gun upkeep.
Yeah.
You learn something new every podcast.
Imagine if you're her and this fucking maniac pulls a gun out of his diaper.
Just pulls a diaper out.
Yeah. You want to see my gun?
Or maybe he was wearing the diaper.
Yeah.
Oh, it fell out. That's when the bullet went out?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
He tucks his gun in his diaper.
You want to see my diapies?
Yeah. You want to see my gun in my diaper. They're the same thing. Same package.
Phil Spector is a belligerent mess. He initially tells them that the gun accidentally went off. But at the police station, he changes his statement telling them that Lana committed suicide.
What?
And we have a clip.
Yeah, that's what I've always heard, is that he said she committed suicide.
Also from the documentary.
That's such a wild lie, though. It's just like, what?
It was an accident. I mean, she did it.
Yeah.
A ton of drugs at the house. Prescription medications, a bunch, but ultimately they did a toxicology report on him and he came up with a couple of things in his system, but it was mostly his alcohol content.
I don't think that made him violent.
Daughter
I think
Nicole.
It made him erratic.
She's like the Daddy Wagner one.
I
don't know what that fucking lady, what her problem is, but she wasn't a security at the House of Blues, and she was a piece of shit, but she certainly had no right to come to my fucking castle, blow her fucking head open, and threaten her murder. What the fuck is wrong with you people?
That's from the interrogation
Oh
room.
my god.
What?
Defiantly insane.
He had a lot of sympathy for Lana.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, what an asshole.
Let's say she
Jesus.
did kill herself. That's no way to talk about her.
Right,
know.
exactly.
Who would just all of a sudden go to someone's house just to kill themselves with their gun?
Yeah.
Doesn't make
Someone
any
you were
sense.
begging to join you.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But do we know that he was begging?
I would assume so.
Yeah.
You know, there's no
There's no
proof.
No, yeah. Rob Halford didn't hear that part of it.
No.
Judas
He was
Priest.
probably begging to join them.
Yeah, maybe.
He's like, let's get something going, like a threesome.
Yeah, really?
Well, you
maybe.
know, he's into some wild stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe S&M.
Your
Leather,
wild stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. Phil, will you put your gun in me?
Oh, God.
My butt?
First, I got to take it out of my diaper.
We got a wild night going on here, don't we?
Police stripped the limousine and searched the entire mansion, taking away all his computers and his arsenal of guns. There were a lot of guns.
They took every single gun.
Yes, wouldn't you?
He must have had a fucking cachet.
Oh, yeah. All sizes, all shapes.
Yeah.
And then he was released on $1 million bail.
$1 million.
The autopsy showed that Lana Clarkson had a bruised tongue, indicating that the gun could have possibly been forcefully shoved into her mouth. She had recent bruises on her right arm and hand. Eleval and Paxil were found in her system, which her neurologist claimed was for chronic headaches,
Oh, okay.
not for depression,
Yeah.
as well as Vicodin. And her blood alcohol level was 0.14%, almost twice the limit for driving.
Yeah,
But she wasn't driving, so.
Yeah, and Phil was up there too.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And he was like a psychotic, bipolar, schizophrenic. So
Yeah.
I think his situation sounds way worse.
That's why they got D'Souza.
Mm-hmm.
They got a driver.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't have to worry about it.
Phil had been wearing the white jacket at the time of the shooting. It was found on his bedroom floor with tiny drops of Lana's blood on the side. However, his fingerprints were not on the gun. He later told Esquire, quote, "She kissed the gun. I have no idea why. I never knew her, never even saw her before that night. I have no idea who she was or what her agenda was," end quote.
Very
Phil-
sympathetic, nice guy here.
Yeah, he saw himself as a martyr.
Oh my God.
A victim that the record industry turned its back on. And now he's going to be charged with something he didn't do.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And
He's real
ham-
MLK.
Yeah, he was hamming it up for the press, like this kind of, the wronged man.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember the trial. It was just like a sideshow. It was ridiculous.
I remember it being on TV, but I didn't know who he was really, and I just knew he was in the music industry somehow, and like he was being charged. Like him and Robert Blake were on TV
Yeah, it was
for,
like a similar
shooting
time.
a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, all around the same time. But it sounds like, and you'll probably get to it, but there must have been a number of character witnesses in the trial being like, he always pulled out his gun and shot it into the wall or
Yeah,
ceiling.
imagine Joey Ramone being there.
Yeah.
One of those fucking nuts.
The Ramones had all died by then, unfortunately.
Fuck.
Have they? Well, there was.
Joey.
Yeah, there was a. Yeah.
When did Dee Dee go? Kyle, can you confirm?
Dee Dee Ramone, June 5th, 2002.
Oh,
Hey, I was right.
wow, before. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, they couldn't be character witnesses.
No. And he produced this self-made video, which was explained some
Dear
of his
Lord, I can only imagine.
experience.
Yeah.
We have a clip.
The police decided not to enter the house as human beings and to protect
Pause it.
and serve.
He's shaking
but
like a
rather
leaf.
He's talking about the police right now.
Yeah.
He's claiming police brutality.
Not to enter the house as human beings and to protect and serve, but rather as animals, drunken animals, if you will, because I don't know that they were not drunk. Because all I know is that they came in barnstorming like stormtroopers, and overwhelmed me.
Stormtroopers,
about
Star Wars
12 and
references.
16 of them.
Easy to overwhelm you, bro.
From the Alhambra Police Department, and knocked me down, broke my nose.
His nose wasn't broken.
Gave me 2 black eyes.
Not true.
Cracked my spine, all which received medical attention afterwards, and I have medical documents to back all
They
this
ripped my
stuff.
diaper.
And when they did not feel that was sufficient,
They slapped
they
me with the
tasered me
diaper.
with 50,000 volts of electricity.
Okay.
Oh, he says he was tasered at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, sounds like he deserved most of it, but
Of course he didn't.
he was also acting like a madman that night.
Yeah.
I believe they
His
were
whole
probably
life.
like, put your hands down. And he was like, what are you talking about? They're like, put your hands down and we'll shoot you. Like doesn't take orders.
No, of course not.
So they're not going to treat him well then.
Yeah. He's used to getting his way all the time.
Absolutely. Phil Spector pleaded not guilty on November 20th, 2003. And he spent millions on a legal defense. Shuffled through a lot of lawyers. One lawyer he shuffled through, Robert Shapiro.
Oh, really?
O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
And
O.J. Simpson was his lawyer?
Robert Shapiro.
No, I'm just kidding.
And Leslie Abramson.
Yeah.
Who represented the Menendez brothers.
Yep.
Then he turned to Bruce Cutler, who impressed Phil because he got John Gotti off.
Some would say those juries, though, were tampered with.
Some would say.
Yeah.
He provides.
Yeah.
Before Phil finally landed with Linda Kenny Bodden. Listen to some of her cases that she's taken on. Jason Williams.
Oh, wow.
Casey Anthony.
Oh,
wow.
Michael Skakel.
Wow.
And Aaron Hernandez.
Holy
my
shit.
God.
That's a murderer's row.
Yeah, these people sign up for these big high-profile cases
Oh,
just for like to audition for other people. They don't get paid really.
But also, she got Casey Anthony off.
Yeah.
That was an undertaking.
I saw someone post recently that Casey Anthony killed her kid so she could go hang out in Orlando.
Yeah. It's a real piece of shit.
Yeah.
She says her dad did it now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a new documentary on Peacock.
Yeah.
I still can't believe she got off.
The prosecution team was led by a lawyer named Alan Jackson. He has the, what do you call it, honorable side of the law here, right?
More reserved approach.
But he went on to defend Kevin Spacey in recent
Oh,
years.
so oh my God. That's what happens. They switch sides and then they become a defense lawyer just to cash in.
Yeah. Because they know the weaknesses in prosecution and they can just start needling.
Yeah.
It's just so funny. I've been seeing so many documentaries and reading about this case, books, articles, whatnot. And Alan Jackson always seems so honorable.
Yeah.
You know, because he's the voice for Lana Clarkson.
Yeah.
Then I went and read that he got Kevin Spacey off.
Yeah.
Then he's like representing like Dow Chemical and stuff.
Yeah.
like companies that are poisoning kids.
Phil was indicted for second-degree murder on September 27th, 2004. No preliminary hearings, straight to trial. It was originally scheduled to begin in September 2005, but it kept getting pushed back. And there was pressure on the prosecution because the public was starting to wonder, could celebrities be found guilty?
Yeah.
As we were kind of talking about before, O.J. Simpson, Michael Jackson, and Robert Blake had all been acquitted.
I forgot Robert Blake was, but that's a future episode. We don't want to dig too deep into that one.
Yeah.
Also coming in 2023.
Yeah.
Actually, OJ too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of those.
Yeah. But all those ones were around Los Angeles, so maybe it's just LA trials are fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah.
There was not even a trial for William Shatner, so
Yeah.
No, not yet.
yeah,
Well,
we're on it.
We're still trying to rattle that cage.
And then the challenge for the jury was to find people who were unaffected by Spector's music catalog.
So people that have not seen Goodfellas.
Right.
Yeah.
Or Mean Streets.
Yes.
or Dirty Dancing.
Yeah. The list is long.
People that don't leave the house.
Yeah.
Although they could have on TV.
That's true.
People that don't have a TV.
Yeah. People that are not film buffs.
Right. Like Amish.
Amish people. That would be perfect. Yeah. You'll find a lot of those in Los Angeles.
The trial finally kicked off on April 25th, 2007.
What? It took that long?
Years later.
Man. Well, they do have a big backlog, I think, in Los Angeles of cases. It's specifically a very litigious area.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Everyone sues everyone here.
And he was out on bail that whole time. So he's just walking around.
Wait, is he just
living it up?
Is he in the castle just kind of going crazy, like going up and down those 88 steps, just kind of losing his mind?
Yeah.
So nothing's really changed.
No. Driver Adriano de Souza took the stand and stood by his initial account. The gun was in Spector's hand, and he told him, "I think I just killed somebody."
Yeah.
The defense tried to exploit the fact that English was a second language. He was born in Brazil.
Okay.
And they say, you just misheard him. He actually said, "I think somebody got killed," or even, "I think I need to call somebody."
That's a dirty defense move.
Yeah.
Your ass better call somebody.
What's that from?
Degeneration X.
Oh, okay.
WWF.
Oh, yeah. The Rock.
Oh, you didn't know?
They added that the ambient noise from the fountain, the water fountain that's in the driveway, was so loud. And therefore, the driver couldn't have heard Phil that clearly.
Bullshit.
Then the prosecution brought up Phil's history of pulling guns on women.
And everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah.
A woman named Stephanie Jennings testified that Phil Spector pulled a gun on her at the Carlisle Hotel. And then he called her months later and left her a threatening voicemail message.
Yeah.
All because she wouldn't go out with him.
Wow.
What a
And-
fucking worm this guy is.
And the message was scary. They play it.
Oh.
A parade of other women took the stand and detailed their experiences with him, holding them hostage in his home at gunpoint. The gist is there was drinking, then he wanted sex, then he was rejected, and that's when the threat started.
He's like the most toxic guy in the world.
Yeah.
He's like everyone like feminists are talking about
Yeah,
is the problem.
exactly.
Yeah. He's like that killer up in like the Bay Area, like the not all women guy. And
Yeah.
they're just thinking like, I deserve every woman out there. And even though I'm a 5'5", fucking monster.
Yeah. This is what like feminists think that all men are.
Yeah. Sometimes they're accurate.
Yeah.
And, sometimes it's not.
Yeah. We have a clip of some of the testimonies.
Oh, God.
The elevator doors opened up, and Dorothy Melvin and Phil Spector exit the elevator. They're having an argument.
I've never seen this with him when he wasn't drinking. I only saw it with him when he was drinking. He snaps and he turns on a dime.
Look at him. He looks like a ghoul.
Yeah.
Phil Spector was saying that I ought to put a
What was
bullet
that?
in her head right now.
Oh
was
my
a gun.
God.
Pointed at my temple, actually touching my temple.
He had
Is that a Tracy
was down
Ullman
with them,
character?
and he pulled a chair and put it in front of the
What
door.
happened to her? I
And
know.
said that I wasn't going anywhere.
He said, if you leave, I'll blow your head off.
That was unrelated, by the way. She had messed up her nose in a car wreck.
Oh,
Wow. I'm glad you looked into that.
Thought it was cocaine or something.
No.
Yeah, like a Stevie Nicks situation.
Artie Lang.
Artie Lang. Yeah. Yeah.
Just a nose collapse.
Yeah, but that's frightening. Like he was not Prince Charming.
No.
But nobody too famous took the stand. I feel like everybody has their own like agendas. Like, I don't want to get involved in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though he's a complete fucking lunatic.
Ronnie Spector didn't take the stand.
Crazy.
No.
The defense pointed out that none of those women filed a police report and there were no records.
Yeah.
Things were going very well for the prosecution until one testimony from their own DNA expert backfired.
Ooh.
Stephen Renteria said that traces of Phil's DNA were found on Lana's left breast, but not on the gun nor under her fingernails. So this raised questions about the driver's story. And why would the prosecution let themselves be undermined by one of their own experts with this.
Yeah.
Because it just gives more ammo to the
It muddies the
defense.
waters
Yeah.
of exactly what happened there.
Because if they did find his DNA in her fingernails, that shows the struggle.
In defense, well, they have defense wounds on her arms and stuff with the bruises, but that's not enough.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
Because that's hard to prove.
Yeah, that she didn't have those bruises before, or it was caused by something else.
Don't know.
Yeah.
A couple people say they saw Lana's chipped thumbnail on the floor. That acrylic white thumbnail, remember?
Mm-hmm.
But that it had been illegally removed. The prosecution alleged that Dr. Henry Lee, a criminologist hired by the defense, is the one who recovered it off the floor. He denied this under oath. Does that thumbnail prove there was a struggle? Or does it show that she pulled the trigger?
Oh, yeah. So it's kind of murky. But shouldn't ballistics know if she had fired a gun? Like you could tell.
Gunpowder residue should be able to tell you.
Yeah, like they do some test or something on your arm to see if like you had fired a gun, and it's very clear.
Yeah.
You know, if you had or not. I'm surprised they didn't do something like that.
Well,
like,
they did do tests.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah. But again, it's muddy waters.
Yeah.
Because you
she
could
was so
prove
close?
either way.
Yeah.
The defense would say this, then the prosecution would say that.
Yeah.
And I'll get into that now. The first witness for the defense was forensic expert Vincent DeMaio, who stated that he believed it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Okay.
The defense tried to paint the picture that Lana was financially strapped, stressed out, and depressed at the time of her death. One witness was friend Pumpkin Pie Laughlin.
Oh, good old
my
Pumpkin Pie.
God. Hey, Pumpkin Pie, get up here.
Claiming to be one of her best friends.
You promise to tell the truth?
Quote,
Pumpkin Pie.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Quote, 2 days before she died, Lana called me and was crying her eyes out for an hour. She said, I'm going to get a fucking gun and blow my fucking brains out. I don't want to live anymore.
What?
End
Is this
quote.
true?
This is what Pumpkin Pie testified. She said that Lana was humiliated by the $9 an hour job at the House of Blues.
Oh, so she hated the job.
And that her comedy audition tape was not received well when she passed it around.
Yeah. She should have got another set of eyes on that first. Yeah. I'm not saying she killed herself, but
She also told a story where Michael Bay, of Pearl Harbor fame,
of the Transformers Rise of the Machines.
You name his best movies.
and he had directed Lana in a commercial once. Pumpkin Pie tells a story where Bay didn't recognize Lana at a party, and that made her cry.
Oh, man.
Bay himself took to the stand to refute this.
What?
Quote, if I had disrespected her, she probably would have slapped me. She was just that saucy.
Wait, so the defense made up this cockamamie story that Michael Bay had slighted her, which may have contributed
Pumpkin
to.
Pie did.
So
The
Pumpkin Pie.
witness for the
why is she
defense.
lying, Pumpkin Pie? Like, why is she?
We
making,
don't know.
Is she in the tank for Phil or the defense or something? Or?
I think there's some gray area, though.
Really?
Sounds like some green area.
Ah.
Little payoff.
Kyle's like a noir character.
Yeah. Cullen.
Yeah, that's right. Cullen.
Maybe Lana wasn't that happy
Yeah.
with the way things were going at the time of her death. Does it really matter?
Yeah,
No.
but you can shape anything anyone says. Like me saying, "Oh, you know, my phone sucks. I want to kill myself," and
Yeah.
people say, "Well, he didn't really like his cell phone at this time."
Yeah, people say it all the time. I mean, even if she did actually say that, I wouldn't think that it's
Okay.
grounds to believe she stole his gun from him out of a diaper and blew her own brains out.
Yeah, that's a
For
that's
no
a
reason.
stretch.
You think she was happy working at the House of Blues,
Absolutely
co-owned
not.
by Dan Aykroyd?
Absolutely
Yeah.
not.
Treat this guy like you would Dan Aykroyd.
Okay. Well, then some of what Pumpkin Pie is saying is true then.
Sure, I'm sure she might have said, I want to fucking blow my brains out.
But why?
Who wouldn't if you're working as the hostess at House of
Yeah,
Blues?
you're
Why
a
is-
working actress. All of a sudden, you're working
I'd say it
$9
every
an hour.
5 minutes. I'd say that.
Why is she contributing to this alternative theory for the defense, though? I don't really understand
She's
that
just
part.
telling it like it is.
Yeah.
Doing her patriotic duty.
Yeah. Patriotic duty.
I think she got a few greenbacks.
You're sticking with the greenback theory,
Yeah,
okay?
I think a couple hundreds fell out of his hair.
You know, it could have. The guy had tons of money. He had money to throw around. I'm sure he had this big defense attorney.
Of course.
You know, maybe he had an agreement with Pumpkin Pie. You know,
And
Pumpkin.
she said that.
Whatever.
She said that Lana would have to seat actresses that she had beat out for roles.
Oh man.
And that it was humiliating.
Yeah, it was not a good plan to work as a hostess at fucking House of Blues.
Look what it led to.
Yeah.
I think people think that they're gonna get discovered, like, you know, washing windows in LA and stuff. And
Yeah.
like no one knows.
Go do another Little Richard video before you go to the House of Blues.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was gonna ignite some comedic gold. The prosecution countered that it was ridiculous to suggest that Lana was suicidal. Her longtime agent, Nick Terzian, testified that Lana was still vital and getting work. In fact, she had just booked a modeling gig before she died.
Really?
And other friends stated that she had just bought new shoes. This, again, it sounds kind of sad.
Yeah, it's like they're just scraping the bottom of the barrel here.
She bought more comfortable shoes
Yeah.
because of all the standing at the House of Blues.
Yeah. And it rhymes too.
And she made new headshots as recent as January 2003.
That's always the actor's move. Yeah, I think new headshots are really going to turn this around.
Before the last headshot in February 2003.
Okay, Kyle's cooking with gasoline here.
Yikes.
Check, please.
Hello. Goodbye.
Is this thing on? Then turn it off.
And then there was also a rumor that she had gotten another acting gig and that she was actually going to have to leave the House of Blues job because of that.
Well, if the agent's saying it, then, you know, I believe it. Yeah.
Well, that one wasn't from the agent.
Oh, okay.
The modeling gig was, though.
Yeah, but that's documented. Like they had a contract, they had a deal like in place.
But again, I don't think it matters if she was fulfilled or not in this House of Blues job. I think rightfully so, the prosecution is going to act like she's never been happier. I think
Yeah.
they even said that as much.
Yeah, and both sides are like, you know, they're yelling from the top of the, you know, a building how much they feel, you know, seriously about their platform or their stance or
Yeah.
what they're trying to say. And, you know, it's all theater. That's what court cases are like this.
She's happier than when she was starring in Barbarian 2.
Yeah, right.
Top billing.
Definitely not. But if you're the prosecutor, you should say, look, guys, we know, you know, nothing was perfect in her life. Whose is, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But she was just a little bit, you know, depressed with the tough industry. It doesn't mean she took a, you know, gun out of a fucking producer's diaper and shot her fucking own head off while sitting down.
It actually makes more sense why she went with him then, because she was kind of desperate.
And he does have connections, and he does know.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
some of the connections he has, it's like, you know, old, you know, producers like Robert Evans and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Lastly, the defense called science as a witness.
Science!
Okay, what?
Because there was none of Phil's DNA on the gun nor his fingerprints. Lana had gunshot residue on her hands, which indicates that she pulled the trigger. And he had no gunshot residue on him. And with an intraoral gunshot wound shot through the mouth, the matter is expelled back through the mouth and sprays outward.
Really?
Blood splatter was found all over Lana Clarkson. And Phil Spector, who was wearing a white shirt, had no blood splatter on him, even though he supposedly fired the gun from 2 feet away. Phil claimed he was at least 8 feet away. The defense said that the case should have been decided with that clean white jacket.
To be fair, he probably thinks 2 feet is 8 feet because he's so tiny.
Nice.
Kyle's on fire.
I know, he's really going after it. But like, could Phil have burned a shirt or something? Or are we assured that?
No, that's the shirt. Because it had her blood on it.
Okay.
But down by his side.
Oh,
there
that's
were
weird.
tiny drops of her blood, but
Yeah.
not splattered. And then this was explained away by a forensic pathologist named Dr. Werner Spitz. What a name for.
Yeah, he sounds like one of Hitler's generals or something, or like one of their evil scientists.
He testified that her dying last gasp is what splattered on Phil Spector's jacket as he looked on in horror. So that's one of the theories the defense presented.
Yeah.
That it was an accidental suicide.
Hmm.
And they don't know whose gun it was, even though it's pretty obvious it was probably Phil Spector's.
So there's no record of the purchase of the gun or anything.
The Colt revolver was never registered, and it was never proven that it belonged to Spector.
So he's got like black market guns, like off the
Oh
grid
my
guns in there and
God.
shit. Yeah.
So they're saying it could have been her gun.
Yes.
It's like a burner.
Fuck out of
Yeah.
here.
Investigators, said that was unlikely because there was even a holster that fit the revolver on a nearby bureau.
In his
Yeah.
boot.
Yeah. Yeah, she brought her own diaper with their own gun. But they're proving the reasonable doubt thing, and they're really
Reasonable doubt.
They're
That's
really
exactly
muddy
it.
in the waters.
Yes. And so that's the theory that she, for some reason, had the gun and he was walking towards her and she had it by her mouth. And as it was going off, he's like, wait, or like, stop.
Yeah.
And then it goes off. And then that's where those dots got on his jacket as he held up his arms in horror, watching her shoot herself.
Yeah, that's a crazy
That's
scenario.
one scenario that the defense presented.
I believe the driver where Phil said, I think I killed someone.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
had
I
the
do
gun in
too.
his hand.
Of course.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Would you take the gun out of someone's hand if they had just killed themselves?
The only thing I can say, though, is even though I believe Phil Spector is guilty, the defense did a good job of presenting
Of disproving.
reasonable doubt. Why was there no blood splatter on him?
And why would no prints be on the gun?
I mean, it could have been like a weird, like sexual thing too. If like he put the gun in her mouth and then let it go, and she went to like catch it and friggin' shot her own head off by accident, and then he's just like, ah.
Yeah, there's so many weird scenarios.
You should be
here.
a crazy defense attorney.
Yeah.
too, also.
But either way, you have to blame Phil Spector. I don't care what
Oh,
scenario
absolutely.
it was.
He's the one who only person there, presumably, that knows how to operate a gun.
If she accidentally did it, that I feel like that's still on Phil Spector.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the hair. And I'm talking about Phil Spector's hair during the trial.
Yeah.
Phil Spector continued to play the victim. Quote, the action of the Hitler-like district attorney and his stormtrooper henchmen to seek an indictment against me and censor all means of me getting my evidence and truth out are reprehensible, unconscionable, and despicable, end quote. He disliked the judge, Larry Fiedler,
Of course.
accused him of leading the jury.
Fiddler on the take.
Every day he'd start out by saying, now remember, we're here because somebody died.
He hated that.
That pissed Phil Spector
You thought
off.
that was a presumption of
Yeah,
guilt?
like, why remind the jury that someone died?
Yeah, well, why else would they be there? Makes no sense.
And of course, if you were around at this time, you remember he would show up to court in a different wig every day.
Yeah.
Was he mocking the system? Was there a lack of respect there? Or was he just making it a good show because television cameras were allowed to be there?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he's just trying to show, like, he's got some character and he's just showing, like, I'm just a crazy guy and that's why people think I killed someone, but I didn't.
Yeah, maybe there was more to it than we know. His wig maker is this dude named Piney. And he says
Piney the
that,
wig maker.
boy, was he busy getting those wigs together every week.
Wow.
Is this the one, the Anne Heche wig maker? Same one?
They're friends.
In Venice?
They
down there?
know each other.
Yeah.
And by the end of the trial, he convinced Phil to go for a more mellow, combed down look.
Well, there he
Yeah.
kind of looks like, he's got the mop top there.
And we
He's
have
like
a clip.
The new member of Oasis.
Yeah. Oi.
Him explaining this in a BBC documentary.
The wigs.
The wig guy?
Yeah, they ask him about what was up with that.
Ed Wallace, the Detroit Pistons
Ben Wallace?
That was a tribute to Ben Wallace, the Detroit Pistons forward. It took me 4.5 hours to get my hair that way. I woke
Get
up
the
at
fuck outta here.
4 o'clock in the morning. I worked till 8 o'clock with Rochelle to get my hair that straight up in the air like that.
His hair.
She
what do you
permed
mean his
it. She
hair?
did everything to it. And it was a tribute to Albert Einstein and Beethoven.
Ben
It was
Wallace
done in
and
jest,
Albert Einstein.
But
Oh
I
my
was wearing
God.
my hair like Albert Einstein in those days.
What the?
I was wearing my hair like Dylan. And Dylan?
This looks like
I
Matthew
was
Perry.
wearing my hair like Albert Einstein in those days. I was wearing my hair like Dylan. And nobody was making fun of Dylan. That day, it got a little extreme. It got a little extreme.
You think?
But photograph, for some reason, in one photograph, only in one photograph, in a dark setting, in a particular camera lighting, photograph, much puffier and bigger than it actually was. I just don't like the idea that anybody doesn't think I'm taking this not serious.
Sounds like he's melting.
Oh my God.
He was.
But he's saying it under the assumption that it's real hair.
Yeah. A tribute to Ben Wallace.
Ben Wallace.
NBA. He's one of the players that got into the Malice at the Palace fight.
Oh,
where
well,
they're beating the
yeah,
shit
that's
out of
right.
fans and stuff.
He was on the Pacers then?
No, he was on the that was in Detroit when that happened.
Oh, yeah.
He was on the Pistons.
The Pistons were beating up the fans too.
Well, not as bad, no.
Yeah.
But he was in the original scrum that turned into.
That's funny. I saw Meta World Peace when I was on my hike like last month. I don't know if you remember
God.
that. But yeah, I was like, I want to say something to him, but I kind of don't want to. 'Cause, yeah.
Don't fight him.
Yeah. Hey, Meta, how's it going? He seemed pretty happy and content.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Good for him.
Nice update.
Yeah. Just a quick tidbit there for you.
The crew for that BBC documentary, The Agony and the Ecstasy of Phil Spector,
Mm-hmm.
they noticed all his wigs. You know, he had his wig collection showing. And they said, wouldn't it be funny if we set up a shot and you walk by in a wig and then you come back wearing another wig?
Yeah.
We just do that, you know, for over and over.
Yeah.
And then he looked at them and said, what wigs?
Oh my God.
That's my real hair.
That's hilarious.
Oh my God. So yeah, because that's what he was saying in that shot. He was saying it took him forever to do my hair. I'm like, hair?
Because he didn't know this shot was going to be released.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. He lives in his own fucking reality. This guy.
In 2006, Phil married his third wife, Rochelle Short. You heard in that clip, he says Rochelle helped him perm his hair for hours.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's his new wifey.
Nice.
And she was like 40 years younger than him.
So wait a second. The trial is still going on at this time? Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Well, 2006 is before the trial even.
Oh, okay. So
in between.
After
That's when
killed-
he married her.
So women are still, not running away from him.
Well, a woman married one of the Menendez brothers.
That's true.
Oh, there were girls writing letters to Aaron Hernandez. They wanted to meet up with them
Yeah.
and marry him.
And guys.
Anybody who does it, a lot of guys.
I don't think
do.
Aaron wanted to meet up with those guys.
Yeah.
Barking up the wrong tree,
Yeah,
sweetheart.
absolutely. That's crazy, though. But yeah, there are some morbid people out there that do find murderers attractive.
I think he also had a $50 million fortune.
Yeah, especially rich murderers.
Is that how much he had?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
that
that's
seems
what's
low.
That's what's paid. Do you think you can get Robert Shapiro as one of your lawyers if you don't have $50 million?
Yeah, but it's also high profile, like I was saying. Sometimes they
okay,
do it
that's
pro
true.
bono just to get more work.
You're
but-
right. Like Casey Anthony.
Yeah.
On September 26, 2007, the jury could not come to an agreement. The votes were 10-2 in favor for a conviction.
Yeah.
The judge declared a mistrial.
Oh, my God.
Alan Jackson, the prosecutor, apologized to Lana's mom and sister Fawn, who had been there every day to seek justice.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Phil and Rochelle were filmed dancing for news cameras outside his estate.
Oh, my God. Imagine that.
I saw footage of this. They're just dancing, like going like, woo!
God.
And you're just thinking, it was like when you saw OJ celebrating when he was found not guilty. It's like people are still dead, you know.
Yeah.
Why would you be celebrating like this?
Because they're megalomaniacs.
Yeah, exactly. District Attorney Steve Cooley made arrangements for a retrial immediately, and Larry Fiddler would be returning as the judge, much to Phil's
Fiddler on the
dislike.
bench.
Yeah.
Here come the judge.
Here come the judge.
Phil tried to get a different judge.
Yeah, Reinhold.
Harry Anderson. Rest in peace.
Right. He would have
Yeah.
been better off with any of them,
Yeah.
I think. And Linda Kenny Baden was too ill to return for the new trial
Yeah.
because she actually had pneumonia throughout the original trial.
Damn.
See, that's hard. I recently had a bout with pneumonia. I had pneumonia and COVID.
Yeah.
Oof.
And it just drains every bit of energy out of you.
And you survived.
I survived. Yeah.
Wow.
For now.
For now, yeah.
Then he drops.
Kyle's got some other ideas.
Yeah.
And Phil got new representation with lawyer Doran Weinberg. The retrial began on October 20th, 2008. This time, it was not televised, so we couldn't see his wigs.
No more wigs.
Nor was there much fanfare, and the media was much less interested.
Mhm.
On March 26, 2009, the jury returned with a unanimous guilty verdict.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
The sentence, he was to serve 19 years to life, then another 4 years for using a firearm in the commission of a crime. And he was ordered to repay Clarkson's mother for the price of the funeral.
Yeah.
That's great. Justice served.
Yeah, and I'll see you in civil court after that.
Yeah. Get that Be My Baby money.
The house is mine now.
Yeah.
He was immediately taken into custody and served out his time at the California State Prison in Stockton, near the Bay Area.
Sounds nice.
He divorced Rochelle in 2018.
Oh, shit.
That's pretty cold when you're in jail and you divorce someone. Like, I this isn't working for me.
Yeah, I think he thought she was stealing from him.
Oh, really?
And there was a blind item that he was trying to send coded messages to get her whacked.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Geez. So he just, yeah, he is the villain everyone thought he
That
was.
was just a blind item, though.
I believe it.
Who's going to sue me for that?
I do like the idea of a hitman writing blind items.
Yeah.
And his first mugshot showed him without his wig, looking glum.
Oh, my
Yikes.
God. Yeah, he looks like Nosferatu or something.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he looks like worn and beat. Not to say he looked better with the wigs. He looks just
Yeah, which one are we talking about?
yeah.
here?
They're both crazy.
You see him in all his glory here because he was always a short guy.
Yeah.
Had huge ears, kind of a weird pointy nose.
Mm.
And boy, that is all on full display.
Yeah. He looks disturbing.
And he seems to be happier and better adjusted in later mugshots.
Yeah.
There's that other link, Kyle.
Oh, yeah. He actually he looked all right.
He looks buff.
He kind of
Yeah.
looks. Yeah, he's jacked now.
He got a spray tan.
Yeah. He's doing Tough Mudder.
He actually kind of looks like Whitey Bulger. In
A
his
little
last
bit,
years.
yeah. I guess when you're in prison and you're an older guy who's crazy, you just look like the same person.
I've never taken a photo where I look that happy.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened that day, but
I mean, I think older guy like him in prison, he's probably fine. They don't really fuck with you when you get that old or, whatever.
and they don't try to fuck you.
They definitely, yeah. I think he's past his prime in many ways.
Yeah.
Phil Spector died from COVID on January 16th, 2021.
What?
He was 81 years old, died in prison.
That's so funny. Fauci killed him.
Yeah. Ronnie Spector released a statement, quote, "It's a sad day for music and a sad day for me. When I was working with Phil Spector, watching him create in the recording studio, I knew I was working with the very best. He was in complete control, directing everyone. So much to love about those days."
To know him was to be completely fucking terrified of him every day of your life.
Yeah. Except for the guns, diapers, screaming, horribleness. Yeah, like 80 other things.
Yeah.
He was a great guy. Great artist.
And I have a clip from the HBO movie directed by David Mamet.
Meme.
Ooh, David, you want to direct this movie?
And this scene dramatizes when Linda Kenny Bodden, his lawyer, was meeting with him for the first time at his mansion.
Okay.
Looks like my aunt.
Girl shoots herself in my house, and that is the legacy my children will live with. Come on in.
If I go in there, will you keep me there by force?
Here we go. You say the Jews invented the music business. The Jews didn't invent the music business.
Whoa, Kanye.
I invented the music business. 7th Avenue, New York, there's a statue, little old Jewish guy, yarmulke, bent over a sewing machine. He's that guy invented ready-to-wear. I invented the music business. Where's a statue of me? Where's the presidential medal?
Presidential medal?
Sidney Poitier broke the color barrier? Are you kidding me? He was playing Superman.
He does sound like
You want to know
Ye.
who he was?
Yeah.
He was an uptight, frightened white guy's version of a black man. I put the Ronettes in their home. I put black America in the white home.
Jesus.
First time you got felt up. First time you got somebody's
God.
hand on you. Guess what? You were listening to one of my songs.
Did you kill that girl?
I thought attorneys never asked that question.
I think
my
we should start a
God.
new game show on the podcast. Kanye West or Al Pacino from Phil Spector's movie. People get it wrong.
What a crazy rant to go on.
Yeah.
And you're like, so will you represent me? At the end of that insanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was their dynamic.
Yeah.
Was that? That's how he was, though.
He just go off on tangents. and
Yeah,
just
you saw
fucking-
some of the clips.
Yeah.
He's insane.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
He basically is saying that he created the entire music business. That's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was there before him.
And he claims You Lost That Love and Feeling. That's the biggest selling, most popular single of all time.
Yeah.
You can't beat it.
Well, he was making music when you could actually make money in music and like big money. And like there weren't like that many hits out there. So he must have fucking cleaned up in those days in the
Yeah.
50s and 60s.
Yeah, on the production and executive side, he was probably crushing.
But also stealing from black musicians.
Oh, absolutely.
A ton.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just ripping them off and paying them nothing and,
Yeah.
screwing them with the copywriting and stuff.
Saying he put black America in white homes. What
Yeah.
the fuck is going
Not
on?
not Motown or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Phil Spector only.
Jesus.
What a jerk.
And since it's the season for it,
'Tis the season.
I should mention that he did produce a Christmas gift for you
Oh, yeah?
from Phil Spector.
Oh, nice.
The classic album, listed as number 142 on Rolling Stone's list of the 500 greatest albums of all time.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it features all the Phillies artists, Darlene Love, the Crystals, and the Ronettes. Is it the first rock and roll Christmas album?
Hmm.
I think so.
So he created this genre
Yeah.
of Christmas music.
Christmas rock.
Yeah.
It was released on November 22nd, 1963.
Oh, certainly nothing else could have happened that day.
But there was some bad luck because Kennedy was assassinated that day.
Yeah.
So that kind of killed the sales because the country went into a state of national mourning
Yeah.
and people weren't in the mood for rock and roll.
That's like fucking George Carlin's Lost album. It was called Kind of Like It When a Lot of People Die. And
The
it came out
9/11
on 9/11.
On 9/11.
Or it came out on 9/12 or something. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
And
Wow.
Glitter, too, came out on 9/11.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, caused it.
Yeah, could have. Yeah, I think the terrorist Mohammed Atta did reference Glitter as one of the reasons
They
why
put a jihad on
Yeah,
Glitter.
yeah, they knew the production was started, they knew it was coming out, and they wanted to send a message to Mariah Carey: don't make any more movies.
Loud and clear.
Loud and clear.
She did do Precious.
Yeah. Some would say it's a little excessive, but I don't.
you talking about Precious herself?
No, I'm talking about
Mark.
Some people would
Gonna
say
get us canceled.
Some people would say 9/11 was an excessive response to glitter.
Oh, yes.
That's what I was trying to say there.
Yeah.
And Precious was an excessive response to glitter as well.
Yeah. It was nominated for the most non-diminutive person. I can't say it.
You can't say it. It's catchy.
I'm not alone.
Yeah, you can't say diminutive.
I can't.
Say it.
I can't, so I won't.
See, you think about it too
Diminutive.
much. Yeah.
There you go.
Non-diminutive.
There you go.
Diminutive.
There we go.
You couldn't say it now.
Diminutive.
Denominational.
Yeah, this is like a exercise we're doing here.
Yeah.
Phil Spector pulled the album off the shelves after that. It eventually became a radio favorite, and a 1972 reissue by Apple Records landed it in the Billboard Top 10.
Wow.
And it has since become a seasonal classic.
Yeah.
Ronnie Spector died on January 12th, 2022, this year.
Oh my God.
Rest in peace.
Everyone's dropping like flies.
After a short battle with cancer, she was 78.
Wow.
Final thoughts.
Yeah. Phil really fucked up. I think this was eventually going to happen at some point. I'm actually really surprised it took so long for it to happen. It just sucks that it happened with someone he didn't even know. He met that night, was like, come over to my place.
Yeah.
And something really bad happened.
And she was the unfortunate victim of him finally snapping and just losing the last marble he had left in his brain.
Yeah.
Really bad luck. I mean, you could argue, why did she even go home with him?
Yeah.
But again, I
That's
think,
why she was there.
yeah, it's more believable that she was kind of down on her luck.
Yeah.
And it was kind of exciting. Like, what the hell? I'll have a Phil Spector story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this dude still probably knows people in the business. He could probably help me out.
Certainly
This
has
is
a
why
lot of money.
This is why I came to the House of Blues to get noticed, and
this
now
is
I'm
my
being noticed.
This is my ticket out of the House of Blues is Phil Spector helping my career up.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was her ticket out, that's for sure.
Oh
Just-
boy.
Okay.
Jesus.
I mean, it was
Wow.
just very...
Yeah. I'm glad that overshadowed my 9/11 comments.
Yeah. Just very horrible circumstances.
And she
Yeah.
never got to do a remake of The Jazz Singer.
Nope.
No. Yeah, that video. Oh my God.
Well,
But
I think she would have found her footing, though. I think she would have been cast in something as, comic relief. There's so many TV shows now.
That's what
She'd be
Jennifer
great.
Coolidge does now.
Exactly.
She's like the older, busty lady who's funny.
She
And she wasn't even that old then. She was 40.
Right.
She had a
Yeah.
resurgence, and like Travolta did too, with Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
There's always possibilities of coming back. There are some good comeback stories in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Not a lot of them, but there's some solid ones.
I think she could have found a role, just focus more on what she's best at, which is being a comedic actress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not doing Little Richard videos.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
shouldn't have done that video.
But you know what? That's all
Water under the
history.
bridge, yeah.
Took a risk and really went at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just wasn't good
Oh my
or
God.
appropriate.
Oof.
Yeah.
But
Well, speaking of going
A
at
for
it,
balls.
you guys should go at our YouTube.
Hey!
Yeah, because Death and Entertainment is getting some big following counts there.
Check out our faces.
Check out the faces. We're here, we're kind of in and out. We're still working out the technical tweaks to get
Yeah.
some of these things working. But
I just paid my internet bill, so I think we're good.
yeah, they like that. Yeah.
Kyle, do we have another review to read?
Sure.
Oh yeah, we have a new review which I really enjoyed.
New review.
Keep selling them as Kyle finds one, Mark.
Yes.
We're also on
TikTok.
Instagram at Death and Entertainment.
Instatalk.
TikTok at Death and Entertainment also, and that's really blowing up. That's like we're like Hype House.
Yeah.
We're influencers over here on TikTok, and
They removed your Steve Irwin video.
They
though.
did, but I reposted it because
Great.
I changed the title because they didn't like. I guess the title.
They didn't like the baby danger genre.
Yeah, and I can understand that. There's some bad stuff out there. I was just playing stuff that's been on CNN.
That was literally a news clip.
It was a
yeah.
news clip. So yeah. Also, email us any episode ideas you may have at deathentertainment@gmail.com. deathentertainment@gmail.com.
You got it. Good job, Mark. And we want to wish you a very merry holiday.
Very merry holiday.
Yes.
Yeah. We say things a little bit off here all the time.
I'm trying to be inclusive.
Of course, yeah, holidays.
Happy holidays.
We got Hanukkah.
May
we got
the
Christmas.
merry bells keep ringing.
Kwanzaa coming up.
Yes. So Natalie Nola, she wrote to us. She said, "So glad to have found this podcast. These boys have made me laugh out loud so many times. Informative and comical. I love that jokes carry throughout episodes. Keep
Yes.
doing the good work. 10 out of
course.
10. Yes,
That's
we
why
do
we
have a lot
do
of
it.
callbacks.
Yeah.
in our
we
episodes.
do follow things through.
If you don't understand why we're laughing at certain things, maybe listen to more episodes. All right.
Right.
The back catalog there.
Yeah.
Or bringing up Carson and Leno.
Yeah. This is my favorite true crime podcast. It's hilarious as well as informative. Keeps me on my toes and laughing. Kyle's voice makes me melt. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
That's a
Kyle's the
little-
one reading this one?
Yeah.
If you're looking for your new go-to podcast, look no further. Can't wait for the next episode. That's from Ashley in Florida. Thank you.
That's from Kyle's Nana.
I
That's
know,
from my mom.
Very questionable.
Yeah. My mom, which she texted me right before we started this podcast and said that she knows about tours, holiday tours where you walk through people's houses. They did one. She sent me a link to one in Milton, Massachusetts. So the Ramseys weren't the only one. And they did charge money for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might
Yeah.
do it when I'm back in Boston. I'll go down to Milton to this weird house.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll put a die sticker on the wall there.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
I
So that's
love
all we
those
got.
reviews.
Yeah, keep 'em
coming.
coming. We love it.
Hello.
Keep it coming.
We will read them as you write them.
Yes.
Love it.
Thank you, guys. We love you.
R.I.P. Lana Clarkson.
Yes.
Yes,
Rest in-
absolutely.
Undeserved.
She was a cool gal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it would have been nice if she stuck around.
Yeah. And Phil Spector did not murder her, which he did, and he's a scumbag. And he got
And
what he
he's
deserved.
gone now, too, and he got what he deserves.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Do not rest in peace.
Shit list.
Yeah.
But he did create a great Christmas album, which I would like to honor Ronnie Spector
Yeah.
by playing one of her signature songs from it as we go out.
Okay.
Beautiful. We'll play out with that. And until next time,
Don't go dying on us.
yeah.